right, welcome back to the Krueger Show, everybody. Hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. Wild Sunday in the sports world. The Warriors are taking on the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks pulled the upset, knocking off the Phoenix Suns. So it's Warriors-Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. We're also coming to you after Giants baseball. Giants, that was ugly at St. Louis. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, and Dan Coccimilgio on a Sunday on the Krueger Show. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Great.
Yeah.
That was both games there, Dallas and the Giants nip and tuck, and I wasn't sure which one to bounce back and forth to. It was such
close action.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's actually the first time I shut off a Giants game that early in a couple of years and just went over to the Dallas-Phoenix game, and I was watching that with glee as see the Warriors get home court advantage and Chris Paul fail again.
Well, why don't we start with Giants Cardinals. Cardinals jumped them 4 in the first against Rodon, 1 in the third, 4 more in the fourth, 2 more in the fifth, 2 more in the sixth, 2 more in the seventh, 15-6. It was all Cardinals, and we saw Carlos Rodon get knocked around. Rodon went 3 2/3, 10 hits, 8 runs. They were all earned. He only walked 1, but he only struck out 3. 70 pitches, 51 strikes, and he got hit hard. And then Littell came in, and he got hit hard. And then Junior Marte came in, and he got hit hard. And the only guy who threw a shutout inning, Louise Gonzalez, inning in a third, would give up the one hit.
Gonzalez?
Yeah, exactly. Luis Gonzalez to the rescue in the pen. Arenado went deep. He had a 2-run shot. Goldschmidt had an RBI double. I mean, you name it. Pujols had an RBI single. Molina had an RBI single. Goldschmidt hit a home run to make it 2-0 starting off in the first. So just kind of an ugly one for the Giants. They lose this one 15-6. Cardinals beat them 4-0 yesterday. Giants won 8-2 on Friday. So what can you say, guys? I mean, ultimately Giants go to St. Louis and look good on Friday night, and then they couldn't get a win Saturday or Sunday, and St. Louis gets the win, and now Giants on to Denver.
Yep. The silver lining of the whole thing is we don't have to see Paul Goldschmidt or Nolan Arenado the rest of the season.
God.
We were right, by the way, the other day. Last time we were talking about how the Giants badly needed, another catcher. And, Rye put up on the graph, put up the Fangraphs list of the catchers. And we were going at it pretty hard about, who are they going to get? Who are they going to get with Joey Bart struggling? Bart did get a hit today and scored a run.
He hit a homer off Pujols.
Yeah, he went
hilarious because it's like we've been, obviously the guy has power and he can crush in AAA, and apparently he's like the one guy that can crush off of this like softball pitching.
Right, Bart hit a solo shot in the 9th inning off Pujols, but still hitting 185. And the Giants made a trade. They made a trade over the weekend, sending Mauricio Dubon to the Astros for a catcher named Michael Papierski. What'd you call me? I said Michael Papierski. Come on down. So, guys, we threw out a bunch of names at catcher, but Michael Papierski was not on our list. But, we kind of saw this coming. I hate to, say, hey, we were all over it the other night. But if you watch the Krug show that went till 1 a.m. Friday evening or into Saturday morning, we did kind of talk about how the Giants were in kind of a predicament with their catching and that they would most likely make some form of a move. And sure enough, they did. What'd you guys think?
I mean, the first thing I did was I went to
Said who's Papierski?
Yeah, I started. Well, first of all, I had to figure out how to spell it because I misspelled. I even saw there were some articles that called him Miguel, which is incorrect. But yeah, I mean, it looks like he's a great defensive player and he can play all over. Obviously, I mean, he's primarily catcher, and it looks like he has a little pop. I mean, he's a big dude. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. But I mean, he pretty steadily throughout the minors hit around 215. So. I don't know. I mean, but again, in Farhan we trust. And I think maybe the Cardinals
switch
is a
hitter.
uniquely bad matchup for us. I don't know. I mean, our other skid kind of coincided with the Cardinals, and then we went on a big winning streak. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. I just hate Goldschmidt and Arenado, and man, I can't believe Wainwright's still just dealing like this at age 40.
He's got a big time curveball, doesn't he? I mean, that curveball, nobody ever sees it. Danny, what did you think of the addition? I mean, I'm not that you know Papirski. I don't think anybody really was aware of Michael Papirski, but go ahead. What did you think? You've probably looked at the fact that he's a switch hitter. You mentioned that. Is it as simple as that? They just wanted another catching option because DeBond seems like I personally I wasn't surprised they moved DeBond because DeBond has struggled at times, especially with his base running. But when you look at the way he's played recently and how versatile he's been, how he's been playing overall, and how they utilized him, I'm a little surprised at the timing.
Yeah. I just sent Ryan a clip I saw on Twitter of Dubon. It's about a 2-minute clip being interviewed by the Houston reporters in the dugout or in the clubhouse. Pretty interesting interview. I thought about that today, and I was thinking, he gets Dusty from Sacramento, and Dubon from Sacramento, and the ties kind of interesting. And then I'm glad for him he got to go to a competitive team that's going to be playing for something all year. I don't know. I first thought when I saw the trade, Dubon, and I says, oh, maybe they got some, stud catcher or something, And I look at his stats like Ryan, and I was like, well, not too impressed. But I've got to believe this is something to do with creating depth in the minors and a backup. I don't think, based on who they got, that this is a replacement for Bart. It doesn't seem like a guy that's going to, if he's only hitting 2-something in the minors and Joey hit 294 or something last year at AAA, and this guy hit, what'd you say, Ryan, 215?
Yeah, he's pretty consistently between 195 and 230.
Yeah.
In the minors.
In the minors.
Yeah.
In the minors.
Right. So in the minors, yeah. So I think this is a chess piece. Personally, I think it's a piece to provide depth, and it might be what we talked about. Maybe Joey becomes a possible trade bait down the road for a more established veteran catcher like a Tucker Barnhart or someone like that. But I just think they're going to stick with Bart for a while. I really do. Based on they're still playing him. They're either playing him because they believe in him, or they're playing him like they did Dubon to showcase him. Because there's this guy Papirski doesn't seem like the guy that would just, hey, let's bring this guy in for Joey, He
doesn't. He seems like catching depth, but you never know. Maybe they're working on a deal, and maybe the deal would send Bart somewhere, and it wouldn't necessarily be for a catcher.
True.
And
Could
so
be.
then you need a catcher, and maybe Papirski fills that role. I mean, I'm just spitballing at this point. I have no sources. The Giants did have an open roster spot, and they acquired the Giants and the Mariners. Guys, people are starting to talk. People are starting to talk about the Giants and the Mariners.
Shenanigans.
Words getting around the quad that the Giants may be seeing the Mariners, and the Mariners may be looking at the Giants. The Giants and Mariners have made 4 trades.
This was the 5th, actually.
Was it the 5th? 5 trades?
Yes. 5 trades in the last few weeks.
The latest one is Alex Blandino goes to the Mariners. It's Blandino and cash to the Mariners for Stuart Fairchild, who's kind of a lean right-handed hitting outfielder, I believe, who I don't know.
Second-round draft pick.
Really? Give me what you know about Fairchild.
I just looked him up a little bit, and I think he was drafted by Cincinnati in, I want to say 2017 in the 2nd round. Don't know a whole lot else about him. I kind of got busy doing something else and didn't really look at his stats. So Not really sure. Maybe
A
Ryan can.
number of moves. I don't know if Rise can look anything up on him, but Junior Marte was recalled from AAA today before the game. Donovan Walton was optioned to AAA Sacramento. By the way, Walton played second yesterday. Did you see the pop-up in the infield where Crawford's calling him off and he bumps into Crawford? Crawford shot him a look that could have killed.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, bro, I'm Crawford. Who are you? Get the hell out of my way. You know what I mean? It was Danny, was it that kind of look or what? I mean
it was
he shot him a look like, bro, I know you're new here, but I'm the Gold Glove shortstop, and if I call it, get the F out of my way. He gave him that look.
Yeah, he got sent down right after that. Huh? So, La Stella, I think, is going to be back up for possibly tomorrow.
Hey, fellas. Also, sorry if you saw me kind of zoning out there. I'm really bummed because ESPN, I think it was an ESPN Plus article, and it's funny because, we got into the weeds of the catcher, like who could we possibly get?
Oh, it's great, man. You brought up the FanGraph stats. That was my buddy who's like the hardcore Giants fan is like, dude, when Ryan brought up the FanGraphs, it was the greatest moment in the history of your show. I'm like, really? Bro, easy. Easy in your FanGraphs, but yes, right.
Anyway, so it was actually an ESPN Plus article. I'm trying to find it right now. It was an ESPN Plus article. It was actually a fantasy baseball article. So like the premise of the article was like, everybody that's playing fantasy baseball is basically screwed because no one is hitting at the catcher position. So they started running down all of these guys and running down all of the teams that of the possibility of trading catchers. And they started going deep on prospects that have been talked about being moved around. And I was looking at a couple of these guys like, ooh, that would look nice in the black and orange. So
anybody that you can remember.
I'm going to have to go to my Chrome history, man.
Yeah, see ya.
Manny Sanguian, maybe?
Yeah. Biff Pocoroba. Hey, the great baseball name from the past, Biff Pocoroba. We've got this one from Stupid Dumbass Child. He says, phone calls, Ryan? What do you think? Can we embed the phone calls? Should we take some video calls, some audio calls, and let people have their say on this Sunday as we get ready to talk Warriors Mavericks with Cy? What do you think? I threw it out the other night in our endless post game. That was both. That started at about 10 and ended about 1 o'clock in the morning with Dan and I going, week 15, who do you got? Week 16, who do you got? We were both like, bro, right? Not off. But it was fun. Friday night, I thought Friday night was a fun post-game show. But we had a bunch of people weighing in. And one of the things that I threw out to the group was, what do you guys think? Warriors, Mavericks. And we all kind of sloughed it off like, yeah. All right. That's cute. Cute little conversation. Come on. Back to reality. It's Warriors, Suns. Everybody knows it, and there's no chance. Chris Paul was minus 39 today. That was the largest Game 7 win on the road since the 48 Warriors beat the Bombers. Mavericks beat the Suns in Phoenix 123-90. That might be the worst Game 7 maybe I've ever seen, as far as I can't think of a worse performance on a home floor. I guess in baseball, what I would say Cardinals, Royals, but I think that was in Kansas City, right? Where the Royals beat up on the Cardinals in Game 7, like 12-0 or 10-0. I think that was the Denkinger Game 6 that 85. Didn't go in the Cardinals' favor, but that game was in Kansas City. This game was in Phoenix. And Phoenix hadn't
lost. I mean, if you went through the games, it was like, Phoenix wins by 10, Phoenix wins by 10, Mavericks win by 10, Mavericks win by 10, Phoenix wins by 30, Mavericks win by 30. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they looked shook. They got punched in the mouth. And you know what? It actually made me respect. It made me think back on how impressive this both. I'll also say the LeBron teams in general runs were, and the Warriors, where it's like just to make the finals when you're the team in the conference that everyone's gunning for, and you made it last year. You saw the Bucks and the Suns both go down today.
I know.
It's that hard.
Wild.
Yeah, when the Bucks went down, I thought maybe the Suns might go down too. I didn't expect what we saw today. I mean, that was a massacre.
Why don't we start with Celtics Bucks? Celtics beat the Bucks 109-81, Game 7. Now, granted, that was in Boston. Milwaukee rolled into Boston and upset them in Game 5. So I liked Boston to win the game. But Boston gets 27 out of Grant Williams, 23 out of Tatum. Horford had 6 points, 10 boards, 6 assists. Another strong performance from him. 11 from Marcus Smart, 19 from Jaylen Brown, and 14 from Pritchard off the bench. And they win going away over Milwaukee. So Giannis had a fat stat line. My goodness, 20
really
rebounds,
bad second half,
25, 20, 9 assists, 5 turnovers for Giannis. They missed Middleton here. I mean, 21 for Holiday, 10 for Bobby Portis, 15 for Brook Lopez. But, Grayson Allen didn't make a shot. He went 0 for 6. Wesley Matthews shot 1 for 5. I mean, that's ugly. Connaughton 1 for 6. I mean, those 3 guys right there, my goodness, 2 for 17 or something like that. They shot him right out of the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the other thing I was thinking about is the past 12 years or so of Bay Area sports, obviously we've been blessed. We went to 3 World Series. We went to 2 Super Bowls, 5 finals. Somehow we've never been matched up with the other city that has got there the most, and that's Boston. And I kind of want Boston. I want the vitriol. I want the angry Boston fans hating us. That sounds fun. That sounds like a remixed version of Showtime v Larry Bird. I think that we can all say that now that Showtime is in the Bay Area. So
it is amazing though when you think about the impact of the 3-point line. I mean, if you look at this game on the stat sheet, Milwaukee won on the glass 56-48. As far as turnovers, 14 for Boston, 13 for Milwaukee. Milwaukee won on the break 17-6 or 17-8. Milwaukee won points in the paint by 22, 48-26. But man, when you get to that 3-point line, fellas, Boston shot 22 of 55. The Bucks shot 4 of 33. Boston was plus 54. Plus 54 3-point line, and the Bucks shot 12%. Man, did they
by
miss
the 3, die by the 3, right?
Oh my God. I don't know that I've seen worse than a plus 54. If you're plus 54 at the 3-point line, you're probably going to win the game.
That's like Rockets Warriors 0 for 27 level.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. And then we fast forward to Mavericks Suns. It was 27-17. Dallas was up 10 at the end of the first quarter. And then that second quarter, Phoenix just folded in their own building. They got outscored 30-10 in the second quarter. Chris Paul in the first half, because the game was done at half, 0 for 4 for Chris Paul in the first half. I mean, you want to talk about your legacy right there. When people talk about Chris Paul and no titles, they ought to bust out this doozy. Because
he now has more Game 7 losses than any player in NBA history.
Yeah.
Plus he's got 5 series when he was up 2-0 and lost.
Hey, halftime was Luka Doncic 27 to Phoenix Suns 27.
Amazing. Bridges 3 for 11, Booker 3 for 14. Both those guys combined 0 for 7 from 3. Crowder took 6 threes and only made 1. I mean, just a disastrous performance from Phoenix. I mean, really, that is ugly. That is ugly.
Get to the conference finals. That's shocking. That's embarrassing.
One of the worst. I mean, can you guys think of a bigger dog meat Game 7 home performance than Phoenix losing by 33 on their home floor to the Mavericks?
A 64-win team. I no chance. I honestly don't know if a 64-win team has ever not gotten to the conference finals. And I know it's 90% that they get to the NBA finals.
Yeah, and then it was 39, and they hit 2 threes in the last 20 seconds. Did you see the last 3 of the game? Boban is just dribbling out the clock with 7 seconds left, and some young bottom of the barrel bench warmer, 50th guy on the squad.
Yeah.
Holiday or something, or who was it?
Was it
Aaron
Justin?
Holiday?
Aaron Holiday.
Yeah. He steals the ball from him he shoots a three, makes it with like 1 second left, but it was like, and then they almost got into it afterwards.
Yeah, Boban's like, I fought John Wick in a movie. Like, yeah, you want some of this?
Let me ask you guys: is this an incredible break for Golden State, or is this one of those "be careful what you wish for" moments for Golden State? Because on the surface, you say, "Okay, wait a second. The Warriors were going to take on Phoenix. Phoenix was going to have home court." Now Golden State has home court.
For the rest of the playoffs.
What a break. What a break for Golden State. But then you look at the way the Mavericks are playing. And, Doncic is on an all-time scald, and he's a Hall of Famer. Jalen Brunson is playing easily the best ball of his career right now. Bullock can hit the three ball. Bertans can hit the three ball. I mean, they can get hot on you. They got 30 off the bench from Dinwiddie, who, wasn't that long ago before the injury where Dinwiddie was a top-tier NBA player. Yeah. And, looks like he's kind of resurfacing as a top-tier player. Mavericks use a lot of different guys off the bench, but it's like Dinwiddie's the best of them for sure. It's Doncic, Brunson, Powell, Bullock, and Dorian Finney-Smith as the starting five. I mean, did the Warriors just luck out, or here come the Mavericks? Where are you guys?
Honestly, they remind me a lot of a little bit of like a younger version of the Rockets teams that gave the Warriors fits, where if you envision Luka in the Harden role and then you envision Brunson in the CP3 role,
right?
They've got the two guys out there. And in that sense, I mean, I think that they're a little lucky in that they kind of know how to play that. But I forgot to say this on the last broadcast because Kylan was talking about how she picked she would be more worried about the Mavs. Right. I mean, I would say, I think we can all say that the Celtics have looked the most impressive this playoffs, or at least for me, that's what I think. And the best two records since the All-Star break were the Celtics and the Mavericks. I believe the Mavericks were one game behind in the loss column because they played an extra game. But so that just goes to show you, like, this Mavericks team, second half of the year, has been legit.
Yeah,
what do you think, Danny? What do you think of the Mavericks on the bench? I mean, they play a bunch of guys: Kleber, Bertans, Marquise Chris is on this team. They've got Boban, Trey Burke, the former Wolverine, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jermichael Green. I mean, it's not a star-studded group, but man, Dallas rolls in playing terrific basketball right now.
Well, I've got mixed feelings. One, I feel like it's, beware, be ready. Don't take them lightly. But two, getting that home court is huge because if you do have one slip up on the home court, you only have to steal one on the road to get it right back. And I really feel like Dallas is not as long on the defensive end like Memphis was. And I think Memphis was giving the Warriors so much problems at times with their length and their physicality. Dallas is not as physical as Memphis. I think Phoenix had more length in a lot of their defenders. Bridges was a lockdown defender, and I don't see Dallas really having a lockdown defensive guy on their side. They have to do more traps and double teaming. And if they do that and the Warriors get the ball to the open man, or whether it be Green at the top of the key and he could drive the hoop, spread it out to Clay or Poole or Porter should be back. I really feel like the Warriors will be really ready for Dallas just because they're used to this type of game. Dallas doesn't play as physical game that really, like Boston is really good defensively, and that really upset the Warriors when they played them last. And we saw what Memphis did. Of the teams out there left defensively, I think probably Boston, then Miami, then Dallas in that order. defensively.
Jay Hutch says, Larry, I think we will know how the series is going to go after game one. The rest that we're getting is huge. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. The rest is absolutely massive. To me, there's two areas for Golden State to look at in this next round. One, I love what I'm seeing as far as Wiggins' commitment to rebounding the basketball. I think that helps you in this next round. I mean, you look at his career, Wiggins averaged about 4.5 rebounds a game. You look at his season this year, what did he do? Basically the same, about 4.5 rebounds a game. But in these playoffs, guys, he's elevated his rebounding production to closer to 7 rebounds per game, 6.9 rebounds per game in the playoffs. And he's doing it on fewer minutes on the floor. So I really love the commitment that Wiggins has made to rebounding the basketball. I think we saw it against Memphis, and that makes Golden State better. It really does, because he's 6'8", 6'9", and when he's really committing to going to the glass, man, I mean, he already helps you defensively. He already helps you stretching the floor. He can put it on the deck. He does a lot of good things, but man, when he can rebound the ball, wow, I think Golden State's really tough. The other factor is going to be turnovers. I don't know if you saw the final totals for the Memphis series, but Memphis turned it over 65 times. The Warriors turned it over in the series against the Grizzlies 106 times. 106 turnovers in that last series. That to me tells me that Golden State can play with more focus and that they can play better, and that we haven't seen the best of the Warriors. That makes me feel like, you know what? They beat Memphis, but they didn't play all that well. I think they're due to actually play well in one of these series, and maybe it's this next one against Dallas. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Definitely. I think the game's going to slow down for them offensively in a big, big way. Like, it's almost like they've been playing with a donut on, the whole series versus Memphis. I mean, just the fact that, like, you just know that always you're going to have Luka and you're going to have Brunson out there, and those are 2 minus defenders, and just having 2 minus defenders, like, because even CP and Booker, I wouldn't say they're elite defenders, but they're both plus defenders. They're both good defenders. But having Luka and Brunson out there, it's going to be just so much easier, and they don't have any big time rim protection. I mean, Finney Smith is actually a pretty good 3-and-D wing. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. I'm just going to call him Frankie Nicotine, because I've heard other people call him that. But like Niticolina. Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll France. We'll see him out there. I mean, because at least he can guard. Like, he can't do much else, but he can guard. And I think they're going to have some minutes on Steph with him. But yeah, I mean, I love the Wiggins point you pointed out. Did you see after the game that Steph's clearly made considerate a big effort in trying to pump up Wiggs, and anytime Wiggins does anything good, he's always in his corner. And he went up to Wiggins after Wiggins, he hit the 3 and then got the steal when what's his face, Dylan Brooks dribbled off his foot and got the dunk, and then Curry came down and hit the dagger 3. Apparently he went right up to Wiggins and was like, bro, you inspired me to do this. Your play right there, you inspired that. And I was just seeing Wiggins all smiley after. So I think this could be great. I think the turnovers will make a return in the finals for sure. But I think this is not a series.
I think they're going to cut down on their turnovers because of 2 reasons. One, the way they finished Game 6, they slowed it down. They got too excited. They started putting the ball in Curry's hands. Ran the offense from let Curry, just dribble it slow, waiting for the plays to develop, took the shot clock down. But another key point, I believe, is Steve Kerr had to watch that on TV at home and had to be so frustrated. His wife made the point, I never want to watch a game with my husband on TV
right,
again.
He's probably swearing.
Yeah, you got to, I mean, just how frustrated everybody was watching it. Imagine being the head coach and you can't call timeout and talk and yell at these guys on the bench and say, get your blank together. He's sitting there watching this, and I bet he's saying, I'm going to get back and we're going to change this offense and go back to what we do best, slow it down, and then we run when we can. But they were force running, and throwing bounce passes down the court, trying to throw the perfect pass. That, we talked about the other night, 3 turnovers on 3 consecutive possessions that's when the crowd started to boo a little. I mean, I was like, I'd never seen it so bad. So I believe that Kerr, watching it on TV, he's going to address that tomorrow.
Kevin Fontana says starting Wednesday, games every other day until the series is done. There you go.
Yeah.
Stupid dumbass child said Larry looks sad. I'm not sad. It's actually just sass, but I think he meant sad, but I'm actually not sad. I'm actually pretty happy. I'm actually feeling really, really good today about the Warriors' chances. The more I look at this, the more I think, man, what a break. What a break that was. And also, you know what I'm really looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Warriors Celtics in the finals. I love, to me, great sporting events are all about great venues and great energy. And it's
traditions.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you put the Warriors in that cauldron, which is, Boston Garden or whatever and I realize it's not the old Garden, but whatever their place is now, TD Bank Fleet, whatever the hell. You put the Warriors there with those fans and the Warriors against the Celtics. I agree. Was it Rye that you made the point earlier? We've gotten Warriors Raptors. All right, we got Warriors Cavaliers to death.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Warriors Celtics NBA knockdown, drag out 7 games, tons of drama, West Coast, East Coast, big market. I just think it would be awesome. I think it would be great for the NBA. I think it would be great for both franchises. I think it would be great for revenue, great for ratings, great for everything. I think it would be memorable. Steph Curry lighting up the Celtics inside the Boston Garden. You got Tatum and Smart. And I mean, the way Boston has the Jaylen Brown, Boston, I would love to see, it's another one of those be careful what you wish for, because maybe Boston gets over, but I would love to see Boston Warriors in the finals.
Marcus,
I think the league's got to be rooting for that, right?
Except for the travel.
Yeah, it's going to be bad either way because Miami's, pretty far too. So it's definitely going to the coast. So
did you guys see what Giannis shot today in the first half?
No.
Giannis first half against the Celtics took 10 field goals, made 1 of 10 for Giannis in the first half tonight for Milwaukee. But yeah, no, I mean, if you're a Warrior fan, you get the Mavericks and maybe, what do you guys think? It's Warriors Mavericks in the West. It's Boston,
Miami.
Boston, Miami in the East. What do you? Give me your thought. I mean, how do you see Boston, Miami?
I'll go here. I think I see Boston, Miami. I would see Boston probably pulling that out, but I think it'll go 7. And I'm thinking the Warriors could do it in 5.
Yeah, I just don't want it to go. What I'm scared of is I'm scared of Game 7. I'm scared of Game 7. Luka just showed he's not afraid. I think he scored. I mean, he was awesome today. And I think in that Clippers Game 7, he had like 40 some odd, 47 or something like that. So, yeah, I think I'd probably pick Warriors in 6.
6.
Boston. I'm going to say Boston in 7.
Here's the thing about Warriors Mavericks. Okay, so the Warriors are going to do. What do? Do you go box and 1 on Luka Doncic? Who do you put on Luka?
Because you can't have them making their threes. If they start stroking threes, that's when it gets demonizing.
I know, but I mean, look at this team. Yeah. What do they got? I mean, you scared of Powell. You're scared of Finney Smith. To me, there's 3 guys on this team that scare me outside of Luka: Brunson, Bullock shooting threes, and Bertans shooting threes. You don't want to leave Bertans and Bullock on the perimeter, but they don't have the kind of quickness. They can't put it on the deck and go by you. So snuff them out. Get out there. Don't close out on them. Don't give them open looks. Just guard those guys at the 3-point line with greater intensity than you would guard them if they drove to the lane. Get out on those guys. Don't let them shoot threes. If you take away Bertans and Bullock's three-making ability, what does Dallas have? It's just Luka going one-on-one all day and Brunson playing off of Luka? What's Brunson, 6 feet tall? Come on, Golden State's got to be able. I wish the one thing that was interesting to me, Kerr is back, by the way. He's been cleared he's cleared the health and safety protocols. He rejoined the Warriors today as they begin their preparations. He tested positive for COVID 2 hours before Game 4, and then that basically thrust Mike Brown into the head coaching seat for the final 3 games of the series. But it's also, they're saying it's unlikely, but not a given, that Gary Payton II might be able to play in the latter portion of the Western Conference Finals, according to Kerr. Kerr said it today. He says, we're not ruling him out for the whole conference finals, but we're not saying he's going to play either. It would be a long shot for him to play, but I think it's a possibility. Payton fractured his left elbow. That was Game 2 of the Western semis against Memphis, when Brooks hit him from behind. It's amazing. Payton and Brooks talked, and Payton's okay with Brooks now. But wow, just the fact that they're even mentioning GP2 as potentially coming back in this series opens my eyes. I'm shocked by that.
I was going to bring that up, which tells me if they get by Dallas and go to the NBA Finals, he may be ready at the start of the series. So that's why I want to see Boston, Miami go long, at least 6, hopefully 7. Whoever wins it, but I'd love to see that series go 7, and the Warriors, hoping they can make, if they can win the two at home, the first 2, that's key, like they've done in many of the series in this championship run, is take the first 2, and then you go get 1 in Dallas, and you can come back and win it in 5. That's what I'm hoping for, because Dallas is pretty tough on their home court. And as you can see, what they can do on the road in a big game like they did today. What I would hope for with Luka is that Iguodala could be back. I'm hoping that I don't know, they keep saying pushing it back, reevaluate, but you've got 3 guys that can guard Luka. You can have Wiggins guard him. You could have Iggy, or even Clay could guard him. Those are 3, guys with 6'6" or better that could guard Luka and have the quickness to stay with his step backs and his drives. I would think if Iguodala is not ready, I would think they'd start out with Wiggins on him.
It's interesting. Everybody kind of weighing in with their thoughts. Jay Hutch is just guard everyone else and let Luka go get his. That's interesting. Let's see. P. Rosenby says Dinwiddie's the key to the series. Dinwiddie did have 30 in the game today. I got to be honest. I haven't studied the Mavericks that much. I assumed Phoenix was going to beat them. Then Carlos De La Fuente, who I had this comment up earlier, he says Luka will go through any Warrior defender except Draymond Green, as the rest of the squad is too small, too thin to bother him. This is interesting too. A. Brody 7 says Luka is like Steph on the Warriors' first championship. Man, he can hit from anywhere. There's no doubt. He's 6'8". He's got the ball on a string. He's really a tough cover for sure. Do you put Green on him and just say, you know what, Green's one of the great defensive players in the history of the NBA? Do you just put Green on him and take your chances that he doesn't foul out? Because he seems like Luka would be able to just kind of, on the perimeter, potentially, coax Draymond into a couple of ticky-tack touch fouls and maybe get him into foul trouble. And Draymond means so much to your engine offensively. Do you put him on Draymond and put him on Luka and take the risk that Luka could draw, 3 early fouls on Draymond, and now your playmakers taken off the floor? What do you guys think? Danny's throwing out Iguodala. I mean, I would say Kuminga, but you know what? Kuminga wasn't very good in this last series. That was the frustrating part about watching Golden State give Kuminga minutes. It's like he just didn't look ready. He didn't look like he was ready to play. Yeah. What options does Golden State have against Luka?
Otto Porter maybe could do a little bit. He's kind of he's got a little bit of a bigger build. I mean, I get what he's saying. Like Luka is, he's deceptively strong. Like I remember like in that Clippers series when he was actually playing against Kawhi, and it was like he moved Kawhi off his spot like a lot, which is like I think Kawhi is one of the strongest guys in the NBA. Like no, and so I mean, I think Luka is super strong, and he when he's at his most dangerous is when he's getting in the lane, he's collapsing the defense, he's getting fouled, shooting 16 free throws, and he's kicking out for these corner threes. That's when I think we should be really nervous. I want to coax him into taking as many step back threes as like he can have your little heat check. I don't care. He's not, he's an amazing shooter, but like he can really fall in love with that shot. And I mean, he's not even a 40% 3-point shooter. He's like a 36, 37. I mean, super high degree of difficulty, but like coax him into taking those. I just try and get him to play hero ball the best we can. That would be my thing. And I think throw Wiggins at him, maybe throw Draymond at him at the end. And then, they're going to build a plan around it. They're going to have help, and yeah.
What's your idea, Danny? And Jay Hutch says Clay on Luka, Draymond whoever hits threes for them. Jay Hutch then says Clay won't overextend like Draymond will sometimes. I think the interesting one here is from P. Rosenby. He says Wiggins guarded him in all 4 games in the regular season. He said, see Anthony Slater's tweet. He did a good job on him. Do you go with Wiggins? I mean, that's asking a lot of Wiggins.
That's what I like, because Wiggins can jump. He can play off of him, and he can leap up to when he does pull up for the 3, but he's quick enough to stay with him when he drives. I would not put Green on him because that takes Green away from the inside, and Green is best played more as a safety, when he's back there calling guys off or tell them to switch different things. If you put Green on him on the outside, that really messes the Warriors' interior defense up.
In the middle of this Warrior discussion, Stephen J. weighs in with this one. Get Verdugo from the Red Sox. There you go. Just out of nowhere. Get Verdugo from the Red Sox. Stupid dumbass child weighs in with Larry and Marty coming during this Rocky series. Early games for him. Yes, Martin Lurie LLC will be back with us this week. Ned Coletti's going to join us for a deal as well. Ned was, I think, hanging out in London, and now he's back, but he's got a little family gathering tonight, so we're not going to bother him tonight. But Ned will be here for a pregame or two this week as well. So Ned and Marty both returning to the fold later this week for some post games. This is an interesting one. Ranger 44. Clay would need help on Luka for sure. Might be too quick for him. I don't know. I mean, obviously, a younger Klay Thompson could have easily D'd up Luka, but I kind of like the idea of Wiggins. I mean, to me, that makes sense. Or do you rotate? Do you go zone? Do you go zone on them and see if they'll shoot over the top of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll switch in and out of that a little bit.
Yeah, they'll switch in and out of that. Yeah, they may even they'll do a lot of different things. I could even see them at times doing a box and one, putting going with the zone and have man-to-man on Luka, mixing things up. It'll be very, it'll be an interesting series, I think. I mean, it's going to be different than what we saw during the regular season. Throw out all 4 games, Dallas winning 3. I mean, Clay didn't play in 2 of them. I think Draymond may have missed 1. Stuff that happens in the regular season, you just throw it out. I mean, look at Memphis. They beat the Warriors 3 out of 4 this year. I don't even look at regular season matchups when it comes to the playoffs. I just think it's really interesting that the last 3-4 games came down to Dallas and the Warriors battling for that 3 position. The Warriors didn't lose their last 3 or 4 games to hold on to the 3rd spot. And Dallas was desperately trying to get that 3rd spot, even playing Luka in the last game of the season when he was previously suspended with his 16th technical. They appealed, got him back on the court, and then he goes out with that calf injury. So they were really gunning for that 3rd spot. And, maybe both teams might come down to, Dallas and Golden State in the finals. I mean, here we are.
It is interesting. A bunch of different comments here. Ranger 44 says if we can contain Brunson and Dinwiddie, Luka can score his 25 plus, and we should be okay. That's interesting. It's funny. This one, Kelch Chronicles, I thought, he says Wiggins and Kuminga and Luka, then Dre for crunch time to stay out of foul trouble. Going to be a fun series. All right, guys, what's your prediction for the series? So the Warriors will have games 1 and 2 at home, 3 and 4 in Dallas. After that, it goes 5 in Golden State, 6 in Dallas, Game 7 in Golden State if necessary. What do you guys think? I'll go first and say I like Warriors. I like the Warriors, and I think the Warriors get it in probably 5. I don't see Dallas. I don't see it. I mean, this Finney, Bullock, Powell, Brunson, Kleber, Bertans, Marquise Chris, Dinwiddie, and no, sorry, that ain't good enough. That's not even anywhere close to good enough. I like Warriors in 5. Well, give me your guys' thought. What's your prediction on the series?
I'm going to say Warriors in 6. We finished it out on the road. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually dropped one early in the series, just because, like, historically, that's kind of the Warriors play a little bit of a boxing style thing where, they're kind of trying to figure you out the first couple games. So, yeah, I'm going to say Warriors in 6. And then also, I think it's interesting, and I'm really glad that Draymond said this. When asked to make a prediction on this Game 7 between the Mavs and the Suns, he said he thinks it's going to be a coin flip, but his producer forced him to make a call, and he said the Mavericks.
Really?
So, yeah.
Just constantly agitating people.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he was going to come with a Mr. T. What's your prediction? Pain. I predict pain for Balboa. Pain. It's funny. We got this one from A. Brody says, I think Warriors in 7. Don't sleep on the Mavs. Wow. 7? Really? Dallas is going to take them 7 games? I mean, why? Why is that going 7? Why? I mean, why is that going 7? What am I misreading about the Mavericks here, guys? Tell me something about the Mavericks that I'm not getting, because I don't see it. I mean, Doncic is a star. Brunson was a very good college player. Powell is a useful player, but he doesn't get a lot done. Bullock can shoot open threes for sure. Bertans is an older guy. If it was 3 years ago, I'd be more worried. Now, Bertans only worries me if you leave him wide open. Dinwiddie's had physical problems. He was plus 29 today. He had 30. He was huge. He was 11 for 15. He had 5 of 7 threes. But, I mean, really? Spencer Dinwiddie is going to take the Warriors out in the conference finals as the only guy of any kind of notable power off their bench? I mean, you got old guys. I mean, Kleber, I guess, is decent, but what does he do? I mean, they got bodies, but I don't get it. I'm not seeing it. To me, if Bullock or Bertans don't rain down threes, and Dinwiddie is kept somewhat in check, Golden State's B- game beats this team. No? Am I too confident?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, because Dallas, they really took off with the Dinwiddie trade when they traded Porzingis for Dinwiddie. That's when they really took off. They kind of now play that smaller game, like the Warriors. But I do still like the Warriors, like I said earlier with you, Larry. I like them in 5. It's kind of weird. I want to say, Warriors in 5 or 7. I don't like them in 6 because I think it'd be harder to win a 6th game, game 6 on the road. I just like this with the home court. I like them in 5.
I mean, here's one thing.
If it was flipped and it was like the Memphis series, I would pick the Warriors in 6.
I mean, here's the one thing, though. The Warriors beat Memphis. And yeah, Memphis lost Ja Morant, so you got to factor that in. Absolutely, has to be factored in. But you could make an argument based on the regular season that there were times where Memphis was a more complete all-around basketball team without Ja Morant. So that dynamic, they overcame that dynamic, trying to beat Memphis one way and then finding out Memphis was going to play a different way and then still having to beat them, and the Warriors found a way to do it. Then you mix in the fact that Golden State was a turnover machine, and they still won that series. So I just kind of think that's going to even out over time. Now, Golden State, ball movement, body movement, it leads to turnovers. We know about that. But I just think when you turn the ball over as blatantly and as many times as Golden State did last round, there's got to be a little bounce back from that. I don't think when you turn the ball over 100 times in a series, that's your bugaboo. And so you're hearing about that. You're hearing about that from every coach, from every fan, from every talk show host, from every media member. Turnovers. Can you guys avoid turnovers? Why do you turn it over? I mean, is it the opponent or is it on you? Turnovers. I just think by the time Wednesday rolls around, they're going to be so tired of hearing about turnovers, they're bound to be a little bit better. If you put Golden State instead of a horrendous level of 100-plus turnovers, and they just had a more reasonable amount this last round, they probably smoke Memphis. And now they get Dallas, and they got home court coming off a series where they turned it over at a ridiculous clip. They're bound to come back, bound to have those numbers even out a little bit. For that reason alone, I like Golden State in 5.
Yeah, they were averaging just under 18 turnovers a game against Memphis. If they could even just get that down to 12 or under, a game, that's 6 possessions and if you score, that's 10 points probably at least.
And more time you have to spend on defense.
Yeah. I mean, the Warriors, there was a time where they were struggling during their championship run with turnovers. It's always been an issue with this team because, let's face it, that's Steph's game. Steph's game is flashy, the flair, the dramatic, and he tries to, make these passes, blind passes, throws them over his head one-handed. So a lot of that is just Steph, and it's going to happen. But if they can get them to play under control like they did in the fourth quarter, and I know Kerr's going to be all over that and has already had those conversations, and, they now know they're playing Dallas, and they'll be having 2 good, at least a really good practice tomorrow, and then Tuesday will probably be a lighter practice, but they're going to be working on a plan, and they just got to run the offense smooth. Just stop trying to make the perfect pass. If it's not there, swing it around again and get the open shot. They do a lot of these backdoor cuts when a guy's right with him and they throw the bounce pass and it goes, out of bounds. Or don't throw that. If it ain't there,
it ain't there. You can't force it. Ranger 44 says we have not lost a game at home in 2 series thus far, and we have home court. I mean, that's a good one. I thought this was good. Made me laugh. Rebel 444. All teenage Dub fans dodge the Chris Paul bullet. 15-year-olds everywhere rejoice. You're safe. Chris Paul is not coming to your house. Fish. Thanks for the Captain Obvious. Doncic is playing at a very high level. Thank you.
You know what? This is an interesting point. So, I think for everyone that watched the Grizzlies Timberwolves series, it was just all very confusing. And I think I said that that whole series was played on bath salts before, as when we were previewing Warriors Grizzlies. To be honest, the Warriors kind of played like they were on bath salts as well. So maybe that's just how maybe Memphis just gets you to play that way. Maybe that just is part of the, like, it's not as much.
That's what Sai said. That's
yeah.
Talked about. He says,
I feel like
Memphis gets you to play that way.
And think about how open the rim is going to be compared to the Memphis series, like where you have Steven Adams clogging it up with Jaron Jackson's, zillion foot wingspan in there to block all your shots. It's going to be wide open. I mean, who's going to be? I mean, Kleba, like Chapowell, that's fine. Steph Curry has no problem driving in and finishing over those guys. Jordan Poole has no problem. Freaking Draymond Green you'll see Draymond Green take that shot. So
that's a break, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that Dallas
absolutely.
doesn't. I mean, Golden State's weakness is they don't have a big man. Ayton was going to be a challenge, and now it's Dallas and Powell.
Yeah, they got JaVale because last year that was Phoenix's problem is they only had Ayton. And Ayton's better than Kevon Looney, but like they made a concerted effort to bring in JaVale. They were playing some 2-center lineups, and they got Biyombo, and it was like, wow, like that's going to be a lot of size for the Warriors. But now, nope. We got Powell and Kleba.
Huge, yeah, because what we saw in the Memphis series with Adams and Jackson, it was hard for the Warriors to drive to the hoop because Jackson was down there,
Even like Kyle Anderson's long ass arms, like
right. So, I mean, when I played basketball, the toughest teams to play against were guys that would ball hawk you and pick you up at half court and had length, and that's what you saw. Dylan Brooks, he was in that, hey, I'm ready football stance right at half court with Curry, and he was, Dylan Brooks is what, 6'5"?
6'6", 6'5",
6'6", and strong, and he's lengthy too. He's not just, he had a good reach, and they had it with Baines. He's a big guard, and their other three guys, Jackson and Adams, and then I don't remember who the
Rozier Williams out there, like he's massive.
But they were just. That's tough.
I think Memphis has more talent than Dallas. Significantly more talent.
I'm going to be totally right, and Memphis is going to be the second best team in the playoffs.
That's Cy Money. It's the host of Locked On Warrior podcast. Carlos De La Fuente says Dubs have heard about turnovers for 2 years, and they still commit turnovers. They've got some bad habits they need to get rid of. Number one is drive, can't finish, kick out, and steal. Stop. Yeah, I mean, how many times can you see, them drive to the lane, and then all of a sudden they're kicking it out, and it's like people know they're going to make that pass, and they're anticipating that pass. And oftentimes that's a one-handed pass. Sometimes that's a lazy pass. And it seems like teams are kind of playing Golden State for the kick out. It's like, and why wouldn't you, right? They don't have tons of size. They don't have a real Peyton is one of their best finishers. They don't have Peyton, so they don't have one of their better finishers. So yeah, when they drive in, more likely they're more dangerous to kick it out to Steph or Clay or Poole for either a wide open three or a contested three. And in some ways, that's when Golden State really gets rolling. So to me, I think if Golden State, it's like self-scouting in football. Know what other teams are trying to do to you and know that you're going to get teams that, let you beat them off the dribble to get into the lane. And they're playing you for the kick out on the three. And just realize that. Be aware that they're playing you for the kick out on the three. And don't just think that is automatically going to be open. You got to make a good pass to get it there. So I think that's a good point. I think Carlos De La Fuente, I saw that a number of times this last round as well. It was like Memphis was more concerned about you would think, don't get beat on the dribble going to the rim, but they seemed like they'd play the thing in a trail position, and then everybody else on the floor was kind of like a free agent on the drives, and they were peeling off their guys, trying to read the eyes of the passer, trying to slip into the passing lane, and it worked. It worked.
I mean, they would
really
just leave Steven Adams out there like one-on-one with Steph because they knew they had so much that was the thing about Steph. Like, we all talked about maybe it's the matchup, what's going on. But in his elder years, he's realized like, okay, you know what? If the three's not going, I'm getting to the hole. I'm getting fouled. I'm making layups. I'm shooting the mid-range. But they weren't allowing him to get that. That little sometimes a guy like Steph just needs to see the ball go in the hoop a couple times, and then the three start.
Who I could see playing some key roles in this series is Kuminga. Because of Dallas's defense, I think Kuminga can cut to the hoop and get some passes down low with some of those slam dunks. He can it'll be without the rim protection. He's got that tornado spin move that he'll be able to use.
It's a good call, Danny. Without the big man, he could almost be the big man in this playoffs, in this series. I agree with you. I think that's a great call. Sean S. sounds like he's a King fan with scar tissue. I still cannot believe the Kings passed on Luka Doncic. I will never forget Vlade. Seriously, I mean, and you took Bagley. The Kings took Bagley over Doncic. I mean, my goodness, that's so Kings right there. Bagley. Oh my God. Seriously, I thought Bagley was solid as well, but Luka and Bagley, and they took Bagley. it's they've been absolutely cursed ever since. It's like, when you make that kind of a screw up, man, you worked both of them out, right? You took a look at both of them. You really decided that Bagley was your call. It's like, you look at the GM of the Kings at the time and you say, Vlade, what would you say you do here? You know what I mean? What exactly, outside of being on billboards, that's a bad one right there. Vlade passed on Doncic for Bagley.
What makes it even worse is that no one wants to stay in Sacramento, but these Euro guys seem like they're kind of just chilling. Giannis is like, yeah, I'm just going to stay in Milwaukee. Jokic is like, I'm just going to stay in Denver.
Exactly. Luka would probably be he'd be like pimping on American River Drive right now with river access, and he'd be investing with Dan Coccimilgio. His money would be going skyrocketed. He would have multiple homes. He's in Tahoe. He's playing golf up in wherever he wants. He's teeing off in Rancho Murieta. He's Mr. 5-star. He's the king of the Causeway. He would love it in Sac. Instead, no, Bagley. And Bagley's unhappy and is out.
How about Trae Young and Luka? They're kind of forever interlinked because of the way they were drafted and then traded for each other. And then last year, Trae makes it to the finals in the East. And what was that series? Was that 4-0 sweep by Milwaukee or 4-1? I can't remember.
It was.
Or did it go 6? I don't remember. But I'm thinking now Luka gets his shot at the finals and in the conference finals and goes down.
Yeah, this would be very. I'll tell you what, if Boston gets Dallas in the finals, they're going to be licking their lips. That's going to be very LeBron 2007 Cavs versus Spurs-esque.
Fish says, what scares me, Larry, is Luka's out of his mind right now. And then they've got these role players feeding off of him, and that's creating problems. I know, but don't you think Golden State seems almost ideally suited to, with a 6'8" player that's the central focus of their offense, to be able to throw a number of different guys at him? Golden State has about 5 different guys that I think could take turns on Luka, from Draymond to Iguodala to Kuminga to Clay to Wiggins. I'll say this: I would love it if the Warriors had Gary Payton. I'd feel so much better, because Payton is such the, if you're that true alpha for a team, and you're dominant, you've got a ball dominant, player, and you can put a guy like Payton on that ball dominant player, even for 10, 12 minutes. Man, the impact to that is so significant. That's a huge loss, because I would love to have seen what Peyton could have done on Luka.
Well, based on what Kerr says, if this game did go to a Game 7, it's at home, which is crucial. You may see GP2 come out Game 7 just because of the importance of the game, and if he's that close, they may say, "Hey, go get Luka."
Hey, fellas! I looked up. This is crazy. I can't believe none of us remembered this, because it was. Now I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that, because there was a whole narrative oh my god, the Hawks are going to go to the NBA Finals, because it was 2-2 when Giannis got that injury. Giannis got that injury, whatever, his hyperextended knee or whatever, and missed game 5 and 6. The Bucks won 5 and 6 without Giannis, and then Giannis miraculously returned to the finals and was fine.
Wow, that's right.
But that's crazy.
There you
Wow.
go. Carlos De La Fuente brings up a topic that is going to be discussed at some point. Here we go. NBA wants Celtics dubs for ratings for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Miami. Yeah. No. I mean,
will we see calls that benefit the Warriors and Celtics? So the NBA gets what they want. Skip Bayless, Skip Bayless is all set up for this. Skip Bayless has just been burying the Warriors for like the last 10 days, like suggesting that the league is basically puppeteering Golden State to the finals, all for their ratings benefit. I mean, I think it's a fair conversation because I don't put the league above that, but I don't think that's happening here. I don't think I've seen examples of that. I don't think I've seen examples where I looked at the game at the end and thought, are the officials pushing for Golden State? I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too much of a Warrior fan to see it that way. But if there are examples of that, you're going to have to spell it out to me because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I think Luka's too big of a player too, and he's too I could see a Warriors fan being able to, or the NBA front office being able to spin zone it like, well, I mean, are we sure we don't, this is an aging team that only has, maybe 3-4 more years of a run. We've got the next LeBron James here. Like, we just lost Giannis. Like, we have a chance to put the next LeBron James in the finals on the biggest stage, the European growing the game, global game. I could see that argument as well.
There was another big thing that happened today. I don't know if you guys caught this, but we got in. Did you see Hunter Green today in baseball?
Oh,
for the Reds?
No hitter.
Oh my God.
Hunter Green. What a season this has been for the Cincinnati Reds. Hunter Green's a prize rookie. You got to see this kid. He's just absolutely the most electric arm you've ever seen. Yeah. Hunter Green and a reliever by the name of Art Warren combined to allow no hits in a complete game, but it didn't count as a no hitter because it wasn't a victory. That is correct. The Pirates eked out a run in the bottom of the 8th inning on 3 walks and a ground out, and they beat the Reds 1-0. The Pirates became the 6th team in big league history since 1901 to win, despite not getting any hits, which seems like a lot of wins.
I thought that might
seem like a
lot.
Ever. It last happened in 2008 when Jared Weaver and Jose Arredondo of the Angels lost when they held the Dodgers hitless. But Green took the loss. What a tough loss. He becomes the first pitcher to throw 7 hitless innings and take the loss since Matt Young of the Red Sox did it against Cleveland in 1992. According to ESPN stats and information. But I mean, can things get any worse for the Cincinnati Reds this year?
And isn't it perfect that it was versus the Pirates too, who've been like just bottom of the barrel, like one of the worst teams too?
I mean, that is unbelievable. You throw a no-hitter, you lose the game? That's bad ball right there. Things are going bad.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's like Josh Allen, or whatever, Mahomes in that crazy game last year. Like one of them throwing a dime clutch, pass and it just bouncing off the receiver's hands and interception to end the game.
Well, overall, guys, I'd have to say pretty interesting Sunday. I mean, I don't know what to say about the Giants other than the Cardinals are pretty good. And the Giants.
What about Rodon? We didn't really talk about Rodon.
Yeah, I mean, is Rodon hitting a wall? I mean, is he starting to get fatigued? Have the Giants overused him early on? Are we going to see him be increasingly ineffective in the weeks ahead? Or did the Cardinals was he tipping pitches? I mean, you're rolling the way Rodon's rolling, and then you go into a game and you lose 15-6, and the Cardinals pile up 17 hits. I guarantee you, there's a couple people saying, I wonder if they knew what was coming.
Well, did you guys watch it on the ESPN broadcast or on the?
Yeah, I did on ESPN.
Okay, on the ESPN broadcast, because that's the only thing I have right here in this Airbnb. They kept bringing up like the fact that they were jumping on the first pitches.
Yeah, because Rodon throws. It was the first or second hit, the Goldschmidt's home run, was the first or second hit. I think it was the first hit all year on a first pitch by Rodon. So
and then there was a bunch of them after that.
Yeah, so they were, and the manager for the Cardinals, they interviewed him during the game, and he says, "Yeah, we're trying to jump on him early because." And then Gabe said after the game that he thought Rodon pitched well and had good stuff, and deserved better. So I don't think it was. I think St. Louis just, they just ambushed him right away. I mean, it was 2-0 after 3 pitches.
Who didn't do something today for St. Louis? Every guy in their lineup was hitting. It's interesting too. You look at this Cardinal team. I mean, Tommy Edmonds got a ton of speed. Goldschmidt's a giant killer. He was 3 for 4, drove in 3. Arenado's a giant killer. He went yard. He's hitting 312. And then they've got some other guys. Yepes is like hot as hell right now. He's hitting 360. He's just been absolutely a killer. Albert Pujols has always killed the Giants. He had 2 hits. Molina drove in 4. He had a big day. Dylan Carlson is from Elk Grove, so I think he probably gets up for the Giants. Seems like Bader always comes up with hits. I mean, Sosa had 2 hits. I mean, they were running to the bat rack today. But it does make you kind of wonder about Rodon going forward. It was a rough game for the
okay.
What was that stat about the well hit? I forget the phrasing of it. It's like well hit balls or great hit balls. And it was something like Rodon had allowed 3 of them all of last year, and then he allowed 3 tonight.
Yeah, they just had which may be a strategy other teams take against Rodon. So he might not want to throw that first pitch right down the middle going forward. He might want to try and hit the corners for a strike because he throws that first pitch a lot, just right, that 96, 97 mile an hour fastball right down the middle. And they were jumping it tonight. So I'm not going to worry about one game. You watch the Giants at the end of the game, the dugout was laughing at the pitching of Gonzalez. They were just, Gonzalez throwing those balls up there 45, 47 miles an hour. Then he winds back up and throws an 85 mile an hour one. He was a pitcher in college. He pitched in college at Gonzalez, so he looked like he actually knew how to pitch. As I was watching those Cardinals trying to hit the moonball pitch, they used to call them ephus pitch,
the Pedro Borbon ephus.
Yeah. But those guys were really off on their time. They couldn't hit it. I was thinking to myself, wonder why more guys don't just try that once in a while.
No, it's a good point. Just looking closely at Rodon's performance. Okay, so he went 3 2/3, 10 hits, 8 earned runs. Only struck out 3, 70 pitches, 51 strikes. We talked about that before. But then you go into the first pitch strikes. He was only through 12 first pitch strikes today. As far as the breakdown, 10 of his strikes were called strikes. 7 were swinging strikes. 15 foul ball or 18 foul balls. 15 balls put in play. So his ground ball fly ball ratio is 2 ground balls. It looks like 4 fly balls. So, interesting. I don't really know what to make of it. He is a guy that that he's coming right at you. You know what I mean? He's coming right at you. He's aggressive early in the count, and it's like, here we go. Country hardball right down the middle. Let's see if you can hit it. And it was almost like the Cardinals had a game plan. Let's jump this guy early. But overall, 70 pitches in 3 2/3 is a lot of pitches as well. So, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. His first starts of the year, his arm looks so fresh. His velocity is basically the same, but it's maybe a slight tick down. So I don't know what to make of him, but I haven't seen enough of Carlos Rodon throughout his career to really say how he pitches over the course of the year. Some guys change the way they pitch. Some guys make adjustments to, the league adjusting to them and then adjust back. It seemed like he was very much like hyper aggressive in the zone at the his first 3 or 4 starts, and it really worked well. But man, the Cardinals jumped him today. 10 hits and 3 2/3. That's a lot of offense.
Yeah, his biggest issue in his career has been staying healthy.
Right.
He gets does really good in the beginning, and then he breaks down. So tonight, 70. What was it? 71 pitches.
70 pitches, 51
Yeah.
strikes.
Yeah. So that's good. They got him out of there. No sense, wasting his pitches for the next start.
So where do the Giants go from here? They're back in they're in Denver tomorrow night for a tilt with the Rockies, and I'm looking at the pitching matchup for tomorrow. It is Alex Wood against Antonio Sensatella. Man, it's funny. The Colorado series is just so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch games in Colorado. I love baseball, and I know you guys probably do as well. But man, if my favorite team were the Rockies, I don't know that I'd love baseball. I don't know. I don't typically enjoy the games at Coors Field. You know what I mean? They just go and go and go, and every blooper falls in, every grounder goes through. It's like guys barely get it. It goes out to the opposite field. It's weird. It's like no lead is safe. It's not, to me, it just doesn't seem big league. It seems very, very minor league. Give me your thoughts on Denver. And I think you could make an argument that the Rockies, whose first year was 1993, haven't really discovered a recipe for how to win in their own ballpark consistently.
No, 100%. I mean, yeah, what was their record last year at home? It was good, right? They just were trash on the road. But yeah, I agree. It seems like something that some mad scientist baseball GM could come up with a way to play to their park in a way that I don't know. Like, it's a very unique opportunity to take advantage of that. So yeah, I mean, it's always it's annoying because it's when they're bad, you still don't like going into Coors.
You got a forecast for Denver? What it looks like? Because if it's warm, the Giants' bats really heat up. I mean, tonight, it was 83. Warm in St. Louis. 83? That's
During
good.
The day.
Okay. So, St. Louis was warm yesterday. It was in the mid-80s. And yet the Giants got shut out. But a couple of positives that came out of tonight's game, even though they got blown out. Jock Peterson hit a home run off Wainwright, which
he's starting to heat up a little bit.
Jock's kind of gets into a groove, he starts hitting long balls. So, and then going to Coors would be great timing for him to get that bat going again. And Belt usually hits really well in Colorado, and Crawford does too. So, hopefully the guys' bats can really get a jump start this weekend. And, it'd be great to sweep them, but at least take the series.
Wait, look at that comment.
Giants offense reminds me of Garoppolo, winning record, but eventually will fold against the best. Great. Even Jimmy now getting a drive-by on the Giants breakdown.
Is Grant watching tonight, or?
Exactly.
Chronicles.
Let's see. We got another one here. One thought that's kind of interesting, just watching a little bit of this NBA post game tonight, guys, and we hadn't really hit on this, but do you think there is something going on with DeAndre Ayton? I mean, Monty Williams. I mean, look at those minutes tonight. Chris Paul played 31. Booker played 37. Okay, that makes sense. Mikal Bridges, 33 minutes, so that makes sense. Crowder, 27 minutes. DeAndre Ayton played 17 minutes. He's your franchise center, game 7 at home against a team that has no center. And he took 5 shots. His game was 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and he only committed 3 fouls. So he played 17 minutes in the biggest game of the year against a team that didn't have a center at home.
Wasn't he upset in the offseason? He didn't sign a contract, or wasn't?
It's going to get weird. It's going to get really weird because
what's going on there? Is there a story there?
Yes. So Robert Sarver, the owner of the Suns, is a notoriously super cheap guy. But so remember the Michael Porter Jr., like they gave him the extension as soon as he was eligible last year. And then it actually ended up biting him in the arse because he immediately got injured, and the guy's got the most injury red flags of anyone. So now it was sort of the same thing with DeAndre Ayton this year, where it was like, I mean, you just went to the finals. Like, this is he's part of your core for the future. Why don't you just extend the man? And they just refused to give him the extension. And so now it's going to come to the point where I guess they're going to let him walk and, go get another offer from another team, and then they'll either match it or they won't. But I mean, talk about, we're making fun of Marvin Bagley. They took Ayton number 1 in the Luka draft as well. Like, if they just let him walk, I mean, that just seems bananas to me. I'm sure Damian
Lillard, guys, is tweeting that he's open to teaming up with DeAndre Ayton.
Really?
Yeah, he's tweeting that right now, that he's open to have Ayton come play for Portland.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on there, but that one is interesting. And then Monty Williams in the postgame, the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, was asked, why did DeAndre Ayton only play 17 minutes in Game 7, biggest game of the year, on your home floor against a team that has no center? And all Monty Williams would say is, it's internal.
Ooh-wee.
It's internal.
Giddy up.
There seems like there's something there. It's internal.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean,
here's the thing.
There's gonna be a lot of talk about that. A lot of talk about that.
We have the similar situation coming up with Poole, where I think after this year he's eligible for like the the max contract extension. And so it'd be interesting to see how we play it. I think that people got a little scared off by the Michael Porter thing, but I think the Ayton thing is different. Like, from everything I've heard, it's just there's a general weirdness, and there's the Robert Sarver thing, and there's possibility he gets pushed out as an owner, and all this stuff. And it's kind of weird because it's Chris Paul again, where Chris Paul had Sterling when he was at the Clippers, and now he's got it's all just feeling a little bit weird. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a big story, big story.
Yeah, the Suns and Ayton's from Arizona, so it's kind of a weird thing. He'd like to be in Phoenix, but they didn't offer him the extension. So
he didn't speak to the media either tonight.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, it's weird. And things like this, when games like this happen and a team gets blown out in Game 7, and they were the prohibitive favorites going into this series, not just this series, but really the favorites to win it all going into the playoffs, and they don't even make it to the conference finals. Usually there's something big that happens, and there could be a shakeup. And I just wonder what's going to happen with Chris Paul. You saw the last 4 or 5 games. He just didn't look like him and Harden are both breaking down. It looks like
it was a disappointing. First of all, Phoenix has nothing to point to as far as they were disappointing the entire playoff run. They barely got by the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round. I mean, Phoenix. It wasn't like Phoenix was hitting on all cylinders, and then they saw the Mavericks and folded. There were indications in that Pelican series that things were bad. Now they lost Booker, they got Booker back. So then all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, well, they got Booker back, and they'll start to roll. But man, this Dallas series, they never look like they got their footing. And then they get Game 7 on their own home floor, and they don't play their big man when they have a huge advantage. Stupid dumbass child says DeAndre Ayton to the Warriors. You want DeAndre Ayton on Golden State?
Get his rights.
James Wiseman and Wiggins for Ayton. Would you do it? Wiseman and Wiggins for Ayton right now. They call and they say you can have Ayton for Wiggins and Wiseman. You doing that?
Okay. I need to see if there's some sort of like personality, if there's some sort of like weird DeAndre Ayton thing we don't know about. Because I also just looking up, this was Devin Booker on him post game. His contract situation is between him and the front office. I care about him as a brother, just making sure his mental is right. Whatever happens, happens. It's kind of hard to look so far in the future. That's not a guy coming out and saying, this guy.
That's my guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my guy. We got to keep him.
I look at him as my brother. That like the brothers look at each other in succession.
Who made those comments?
I'm not sure.
That was Booker, right?
Yeah, it was Booker.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. There's talk
Very
about
interesting.
Rudy Gobert maybe leaving Utah, so he may be another possibility. The Wiseman thing will be interesting this summer. If he plays summer league
Yeah.
and is able to be ready for camp, then you either know what you're getting and what you're looking at and keeping him for the future. I personally think he'd be great to have with Poole and Kuminga and Moody. And I mean, you got 4 guys, Wiseman, and then Wiggins is still young enough. There's your next nucleus to keep this thing going like San Antonio did for years.
What do you think of Mark Graves? He says Ayton doesn't have a killer instinct for a guy his size.
It's good enough. All right.
I don't know. He looked pretty killer last year.
It's good enough.
You know what it really tells you is when you get to the biggest game, whether it be, in the NBA finals or in the Niners case, the Super Bowl, you got to get it done. You got to get it done because you don't know when you're coming back. You don't know if you're going back. All you know is you're there now. Chris Paul had a chance in the finals, didn't happen. Thought this was going to be the return trip to the finals, and they're out. Didn't even make it to the conference finals. And this one really is going to, I would say of all the Chris Paul meltdowns and checkouts, and this is the one that he's probably going to be sitting there going, what happened? What happened here?
Did you see the thing that everyone's trolling him on Twitter? Is like, it was like came out from some Time article he did where it was after the finals. And he's like, I just realized like I'm actually addicted to going to the finals. Like I'm never like, and then everybody like was like quote tweeting it like glad you got help in your recovery. Like you're addicted. No problem.
Oh my!
What do you think of this one? Stupid dumbass child says, "How about Gobert? Rudy, go to the Warriors or Portland. Portland has a big man already. They got Nurkic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if it came right down to it, and you could move off of, I was thinking about this the other day because somebody was throwing out, Zion's going to get dealt, and would the Warriors move, make a big trade for Zion with Wiseman and Wiggins and this and that. I'm thinking about all these different options. I think I'd like to see I think as a Warrior fan, I'd like to see the Wiseman thing through to completion. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, you know what? Yeah. Is there a chance that they drafted him in the top, 2 and he's going to be a bust? Yeah, there's a shot. But let's take that shot. There's also a shot that if you trade him, he's going to be a star somewhere. I don't want to trade him. I think I would, does the meniscus worry you? Yeah, because there's increased swelling and who knows if he'll ever get right. And it would be easy. I think it was Bleacher Report had an article. The Warriors should get off of James Wiseman for Christian Wood. No. And Christian Wood's a good player. I mean, I like Christian Wood. Don't get me wrong. But you know what? I don't want to sell short on Wiseman. I like James Wiseman. The James Wiseman highlights that I saw earlier this year from the G League were incredible. I mean, it was like jailbreak on the rim. I want to see what this guy does. We've waited this long for James Wiseman. Let's see it through to completion. I don't want to move him right now. I mean, I would.
I guess another big man that could never get on the floor his first few years was Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. There's also Greg Oden. Is it Greg Oden or is it Joel Embiid?
Greg Oden had questionable medicals coming in, though.
He had a microfracture deal with the knee, which is, far more serious.
Meniscus is like, you could play on that. They just don't want to, bring him in. He's already so raw. They don't want to, force him at 80% into the flow. And
Right.
Itchy95 says, I'm actually with Larry on this. I want to see Wiseman as a Warrior. Itchy95. We itch together. All right. Yeah. There you go. I mean, it's funny. The Rebel 444 says, I like Wendell Carter Jr. more than Wood, but give Wiseman a chance first, please. Yeah, I don't know. I get the sense that at some point Golden State's gonna maybe get tired of waiting around for Wiseman, and I understand that. I mean, especially if they fall short of a title this year, maybe there's more urgency to go cash in that chip for somebody who's let's just say Wiseman could be a 10 or he could be a 2. Okay, but what if you could cash that chip in for a guy you knew was a 7? You know what I mean? So you don't have to take the 10 or 2 gamble. You just say, you know what, I'll take the 7 in hand. That's the thing that's the Christian Watson debate, right?
Who's like 7 in hand?
Christian Watson. I'm saying Christian. Let's say you could get a Christian Watson. He's like a 7, or like give you an example. What if you could make a big deal with New Orleans and you could move them Wiseman and Wiggins and something, and you could come away with Valanciunas?
Nah. I mean, Memphis moved off Valanciunas for Steven Adams. So that
you don't like Valanciunas? I like Valanciunas.
I like Valanciunas.
I like him. But you know what? I think a good comp for Wiseman, there actually was trade talks about this other guy who we just saw play a big impact, was Jaron Jackson Jr. Another guy.
I'd take him too.
Well, I would too, but like he's another guy.
What's his knee? Doesn't he have a knee issue too?
He has a knee issue too, and he's been incredibly frustrating for Memphis because he can never stay on the floor. And then when he's on,
that would be popular.
Yeah.
Locally, right?
Wiseman's from Memphis.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be popular. Would you make that trade? First of all, you wouldn't be able to make that trade because you'd have to throw other people in. But would you make a trade that involved Jaron Jackson and Wiseman?
Probably not.
Tough one, man.
That might be. Might call me stupid for that, but like. Honestly, I don't think that Wiseman has an injury problem. I really think he's going to be phenomenal. And even if he only reaches 65% of his potential, he's going to be the guy's. He's like 7'3" or something. Like he's like so much bigger than. Would
you throw your pieces together? Stupid dumbass child says, "How about Zion or Ingram to the Warriors?" I mean, first of all, Zion is interesting because Zion is so heavy that he's got foot problems, and they might not go away. You could trade Wiseman in a deal for Zion, get Zion, have everybody sky high, and then he's got, plantar fasciitis, and James Wiseman gets right, and you've got a 6'6", 295-pound power forward / center who's got plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, it was Zion. Is he the?
He seems too heavy.
Is he the Jamarcus Russell of the NBA? Number one overall.
I'm not a doctor, but I mean, to me, I would say if 280 is about the max that you can have on your feet to run up and down. If you're really 3 bills. And I bet you he's every bit of 3 bills.
He's the heaviest guy in the NBA.
He's
6'5",
huge. he needs to cut fat, but he also needs to cut muscle. He just needs to lean out. He needs one of those diets where he cuts muscle mass and gets down as light as he possibly can. If Zion were fully committed to being, absolutely, I'm going to have an NBA career. I'll do whatever it takes. And some doctor said, hey, Zion, get to 270. That's what it's going to take. Get down to 270 and stay there. And he could get down there. I'd make the trade and I'd add him. But if not, I think I'd steer clear of Zion. But Brandon Ingram's a hell of a player too. Would you take some form of Ingram and Valanciunas and a pick?
I wouldn't do that. I don't think after this year. Nah.
Who wouldn't do that?
I don't think the Pels would. I think that they just
built Ingram. How good Ingram was?
I mean, they took the Suns to the wire without Zion. I think that Zion's actually like kind of happy to be there. Also, I think I'm
saying forget Zion. So let's say it was just Ingram and Valanciunas. If you're the Warriors, would you take Ingram and Valanciunas in some deal for Wiggins and Wiseman?
Yeah,
you would. Well,
I guess I would.
Interesting.
Would we pay?
What do you think of?
Would we pay Poole then?
Huh. You got to keep Poole.
Oh, for sure, you're keeping Poole.
What do you think with the Lakers situation? Phil Jackson was saying they should trade LeBron. Now they've had some issues. In the past,
no LeBron.
But I don't want LeBron with the Warriors. But
no.
he'd like to be team with Curry. But I don't want him. But what are the Lakers going to do?
No,
I'm not talking about for the Warriors. I'm just talking about NBA.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
Do I seem like I'm kind of torn on that, or do I seem like I'm? No.
But the Lakers, they have to do something because Westbrook
Don't help
is
them out.
untradeable.
Let's let the Lakers stay in purgatory
Yeah.
for they're going nowhere. Did
They're
you see
going
somebody
nowhere.
suggested they should trade LeBron and build around Westbrook?
Well,
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
Jackson was. Well, they
That's
probably
what Phil was saying. That's what Phil was saying. You're right.
Well, because no one will take Westbrook in his contract, and Westbrook has to be the main guy, and I mean LeBron and Westbrook, they don't mix. They're oil and water, and I hope they keep that thing together because they'll have another disastrous run.
Jay Hutch says, "We'll say it louder, Larry. LeBron to the Warriors? No."
All right, now say it like Jay Hutch would say it.
No.
No. My wife's in the other room. I'm trying to sleep. I'm in the man cave. I run my house, but no, I gotta stay quiet here. No.
Hey, what do you think about this for the Lakers front office?
Jay Hutch should probably give you one of these. Just the arm, just the fist crossed. Like, no, I'd say it louder, but I don't want to wake her up. No.
Okay, what do you think about this? Because everyone made a big deal about LeBron James. Basically, I don't want to say anything too explicit here, but he was very complimentary of Sam Presti during the All-Star break.
What do you call him the best GM?
I know. What do you think about this? Because this seems
LeBron
like
to OKC.
No. I think this is what maybe happens. So it's weird how the Lakers are like the biggest brand, but they're essentially run like a mom and pop organization where it's like they have all their friends at the country club and Phil Jackson's there and he's saying that, oh, you know what, we should build around Westbrook and trade. I think LeBron's like, why don't you guys pay an ungodly amount of money for Sam Presti? Get a guy in here who is worthy of like an actual elite A+ guy in the front office of the biggest, whatever organization, and have him figure it out.
That'd be make way too much sense.
Way too much sense.
Seriously, right?
No,
Rise now injecting. This is come on. This is a
now you got Phil
show and Rise actually talking sense over here.
Jeannie Buss, Phil, and you got the
Rambuses.
Yeah, and of course the GM Rob Pelinka. And,
yeah. It's all weird and incestuous.
It's just like a mess.
That's a great one, though. Pelinka.
I bet it's Jay Hutch.
Who's at the front door? It's probably Jay Hutch.
I'm saying it's Jay Hutch.
It's Jay Hutch.
It's Jay Hutch.
I called it.
What's going on, Jay? What's going on, man?
Jay?
What do you got going on?
I'm not whispering right now.
Look at you. I'm the king of my castle now. Wait, how come we're getting you on the audio? I kind of like the video calls better. Are you out and about right now?
I didn't send in the video.
Oh, you didn't send out the video?
I'll hop in the video if you guys post the link.
Yeah, put the link out. So if we're gonna go Jay Hutch, we got to go Jay Hutch with the video.
All right.
Yeah, I want to see them
dancing
the man.
Jay Hutch, hang up the phone. We'll get you the video link, and then you get back here in the video.
Jimmy G to the Mariners.
Jimmy G to the Mariners. Yeah, terrific. There we go. It's in the. See, I put it up there. Or I put it up there. Krueger Show, StreamYard. There you go. If you want to be part of the video call, please do jump in. Do you like how he quickly? I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey, I don't have to whisper today, man. Those whispering days have come and gone. I talk as loud as I want, when I want, to whoever I want. Yes, honey. Hold on. I'll be right back. There we go.
Wife's out on the town in Nashville right now.
Jay Hutch joins us.
Murfreesboro, the Murfreesboro
portion of the show. What's up, Jay Hutch? You're free as a bird, huh? Do what you want. You run this place. I run this beast.
I swear, Larry.
What's up, bro? How are you, man? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Larry loves to be Mac. He just goes, "Are you not entertained?"
Oh man! So you were with us the other night. We were all whispering probably about a Joey. Well, Joey Bart be traded. Well, the Giants get a catcher. Sure enough, the Giants made a trade. Giants also kind of stumbled this weekend in St. Louis. Warriors, though, knocked off Memphis. And they got a little surprise today, which has made this postgame even a little juicier because Dallas rolls into Phoenix and they roll out a 123-90 winner. And that means, guys, is it Wednesday night? Wednesday night we get game one?
Wednesday
night at Chase. Game one, Warriors Suns. Jay Hutch. What do you think?
What is the stat of the Warriors winning at home?
in the playoffs. Historically,
When they have home court.
What's their record at home? Well, what's their record when they have home court advantage in a series?
Yeah,
they've only lost one series.
They've always had it. I think
they only lost to Cleveland in 16.
What was the Toronto series? Who had home court there?
Toronto.
It was I think Golden State, and I think that the road team won every single game.
Yeah.
So it's happened before. It's potentially. What do you think of Mavericks and Warriors Mavs instead of Warriors Suns? Judge, what do you think?
CP folded. He's old. I think
it's fun to watch too because he's you're threatening 15-year-olds and you're flopping and this false tough guy stuff. And it's so enjoyable to see him check out. Now he can go tape a few State Farms.
Any time he crumbles and falls, I just think back to when it was him and Blake Griffin on the Clippers, and they thought they were going to come in and destroy. And we just slapped them around.
Blake Griffin, seriously, he posted up the first two possessions. Draymond just blocked his stuff a couple times, and then literally the rest of the series, he was a face-up jump shooter.
They were talking so much S2, and we just took care of business and moved on.
I hated. How about that series when I think that it went to 7 games and it was at the Clippers, and Curry came down, hit a huge 3 to cut it to 1. Then they made 2 free throws. Then we came down and Curry 1,000% got fouled on that 3. I don't know if you guys remember that. 1,000%. Nowadays they would 100% call it. I think they just didn't know what to do.
How many times does Curry get fouled, end up on the floor, and there's no whistle?
He doesn't seem like he gets the calls that players of his ilk typically get.
No, he doesn't.
It's weird that the little guys tend to not really, unless you're a Paul type that's like that. That's your game. That's your game. Or Kyle.
So Jay Hutch, what's got you fired up? I mean, Louise Gonzalez pitching, the Giants stumbling, now on to Denver. The Warriors, they even said, Kerr said today, maybe Peyton plays at the end of this next series. Or was it Dallas upsetting Phoenix and now having a different matchup? Or we even mentioned Boston. How about Boston put Milwaukee away? So now we're potentially we could get Boston Golden State, which I'm looking forward to. What's jumping out to you on this Sunday?
I think I'm doubling down on what Coach has been saying about Luis Gonzalez. I think Luis has a chance to make an all-star game. I think he looks
an all-star game. Wow.
Good. He's looking good.
Man, if he keeps it up.
All-star game?
He's hitting 330. Made a nice little catch today.
As a hitter or as a pitcher? No, I'm just kidding. Luis Gonzalez, though, is actually the only thing that would surprise me about Luis Gonzalez is that for some reason they typically hit him down in the lineup.
Weird, right?
I'm not sure what they need to see from him. He's hitting about 350. I think I might move him up, Cap. Just 350. No,
yeah. I don't really.
Well, you'd have to put him. I like him where he's at because you'd have to put him at the 1 spot because your Belt is really good in the 2 spot, and Gonzalez isn't a power guy, so you're not going to put him in the 3, 4, or 5.
He's hitting 350. Lead him off.
Well,
right? No.
Wade's the leadoff guy because he gets on base a lot.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
I like Gonzalez right where he's at in that 6 spot. I think is perfect. 6.
He hit 8
or 7
today.
Crawford is usually 6 or 7.
Yeah, so you
he
got
hit
Crawford.
the 8 hole today.
What do you guys think about?
Well,
You guys think about whenever Bart plays, just whenever he's in the lineup, bat him 8 and put someone in the lineup behind him.
They did that the other day with Gonzalez, and I was sort of
I
like,
think
what?
because it's either you got to pitch to him because the guy behind him has an on-base percentage of whatever, above 350, has some pop. Then the leadoff guy, Wade or someone else, also has a good, so it's like you don't want to snowball. You don't want to mess around with him. You want to throw him some pitches, and that could really help him. It just put someone behind him, and then the leadoff guy.
I have no problem with that. It's interesting watching the Giants this year. It's like it's hard to kind of put your arms around them. Why? Because they seemingly don't have a lot of offense, but then you got to remember, look at the rest of the league, right? So, you know what I mean? When you look at their offense, you say, well, it's kind of underwhelming, but then you go, well, they got guys that haven't gotten hot yet, and it will come around. So it's weird to see a team struggle at times, and then you look up, and every time you look up, you say, well, they're 20-14, they've got a better than 500 record on the road. I mean, right now, give me your assessment of the Giants. We're 34 games in. They're 9-7 on the road. They're 20-14 overall. I mean, right now, what do you think they're going to be hunting for in July? And any of the three of you guys want to weigh in on this? We know Farhan's going to make incremental movements all throughout, the rest of May, June. Heck, I bet you he makes 5 trades between now and like July 1st. But when we get to July 31st, the trade deadline, what do you think ultimately he's going to be looking for to push Giants over the top this year?
It obviously depends on who's injured at the time.
Sure.
Too much pitching. I think maybe a stud closer, depending on where the bullpen's at. Who's injured. I'm not talking like like the highest top of the closer, but like a proven closer. Obviously a bat. I think Farhan's always looking for a bat just with his offensive mind. Not so much defense, probably not a shortstop. I'd say probably an outfielder. I think he's going to look for a catcher at some point, but we just got one. But he may trade him for someone else soon. It depends on what Casali and Bart are doing.
Rebel 444 says, "How about Frankie Montas or Sonny Gray?"
No,
Sonny Gray if the Twins fall out of it in July for add more pitching. Rebel 444 is also thrown out. Bogarts. There was a rumor coming out of Boston this weekend that the Bogarts wants out. I don't see that as a fit. You got Crawford,
no.
And then now he's throwing out Vidal Brujan from Tampa. Rebel 444. When you're going to Vidal Brujan, I mean, that's deep. That's a deep pull.
Who's on the Mariners right now?
Yeah, exactly. The Giants and the Mariners. Well, the Giants and the Mariners, one of their teams abandoned their stadium, and they share a stadium going forward.
Yeah, they just traded AAA sites. Yeah, they're just.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
no,
guys.
I think. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to derail slightly, but I've got some juicy Suns stuff.
Go for it.
Okay, so Bobby Marks, like the ESPN guy.
Bobby Marks is a good friend. Absolutely.
Okay, so he just put out a contract. So basically, what summarizes it and basically is why all Suns fans should now be probably panicked is that so they've got DeAndre Ayton, who is a restricted free agent. If they pay him, they're going to make him one of it's like Embiid, Jokic, Bam, Karl Anthony Towns are the other centers that have this max contract. And I think the thought is like, that's the one, position where it seems like you can just find a guy year to year, like a JaVale McGee or whatnot. So they would have to be either pay him the max, let him walk. Then they have to give the super max extension to Devin Booker, making him the highest paid guy in franchise history. Then they have the rookie extension for Cam Johnson. They have to either do or not do. And then also they already signed Bridges. So Bridges is now under contract. And this is going to be the first time since 2009 or 2009/10 that they're going to be in the luxury tax, and it's going to get weird, especially because now they didn't make the finals, so they can't just be like, okay, we have to bring it all back. Second round, I think it could get funky.
And so you think Ayton is going to feel the brunt of that?
That's what everybody's saying. It seems like they're going to let him walk and just build around Bridges, Booker.
Things have really changed in the NBA. It used to be like you wanted the big man, and once you got the big man, it was like, oh man, you'd move heaven and earth to get the big man. And now it's like, you know what? Do you want the big man, or is the big man in the way? Does he clog the lane? It's amazing how we've pivoted from the value of the big man. But also the other thing, my takeaway on this whole thing tonight with Phoenix is that this is probably it for Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul's 37. This probably was his last best shot at a title, and he's probably going to wind up. This was. He's coming up short now for his first NBA Finals appearance. Last year he got the Finals appearance. But I mean, my goodness, that's it. He's 37. I can't think that he's going to get a better shot than this to win a title, right? I mean, wouldn't you guys say that this was probably the last best shot for Chris Paul?
Yeah, and at halftime, Chris Paul had 1 point, Booker had 2, Ayton had 3, Bridges had 4, Jay Crowder had 5.
Wow. You look at that luxury tax, if Phoenix is going into that, it's pretty amazing what Joe Lacob did last year. I can't even believe that he paid like $75-80 million for Kelly Oubre. You could see that team was going nowhere, and they should have dumped him at the much earlier. But carrying Oubre for the whole year, and then he didn't even play in the play-in games and stuff. I think he was hurt, but that was such a waste, and it's actually caused Lacob to change philosophy, because if you look at what the Warriors were asking for, the veterans were wanting more veteran players, but Lacob kind of bore down and said, no, we're going to stick with a future plan with Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman. They're going to keep this thing trying to
because he's smart. You know why? You know why, Dan? Because he understands how incredibly expensive the Warrior arena is. And so he knows that, especially he wasn't banking on this economy. I don't think anybody was. No. But I think he's looking at his arena going, you know what? I'm not going to be able to get, people to spend $50 for 3 beers if I've got no players. I need players. And so I think, hedging towards the future is his way of trying to guarantee that they'll at least be a contender. Now, Iguodala was critical, saying, that he didn't do everything in his power to win this year. Heck, Cyrus on the Locked On Warriors podcast was being critical of Bob Myers for not spending more money this year. But I think ultimately when Myers was looking at, do we spend $5 or $6 million more to bring in a mid-level exception type player when I know that player is going to make a nominal difference, and I know at the same time that my owner, because of the tax penalties, that player is going to wind up costing my owner $30 million. So he did Joe a solid, and he said, Joe, guess what? At the end of the day, I think we're fine. Ultimately, I don't know what player they could have gotten at the mgoing, but I don't think it's going to be the difference between winning and losing. So they probably made the right call there. But this is going to be a very interesting summer for Phoenix, because Phoenix rolls into the summer now. Booker, Paul, and Ayton in this Game 7 at home combined to make 1 of 15 shots in the first half. The game was over at halftime. Oh, yeah, but that trio, Booker, CP3, and Ayton, 1 for 15 in the first half. Those guys are going to have to wear it, man. Those are the goat horns right there. Now it's Phoenix, and I'm sure it's not hard. It's, they'll be on to, damn you, Dalton Varsho in a few weeks. And I can't really see them being, it's not Philly. It's not Boston. It's not New York. It's not Chicago. It's not that kind of a place. But man, that's a long off season right there. When you thought you were going back to the finals and potentially going to give Chris Paul his first title, and show a first half of Game 7 at home in your backyard to the Mavericks. I mean, that's, to me, if Phoenix had lost to the Warriors next round, so what? You lost to the Warriors. It's Clay, it's Steph. They're better, whatever. You lose to Dallas at home in Game 7. And suddenly Monty Williams doesn't look so great. Suddenly their core doesn't look so great. You know what I mean? This is a catastrophe for the Suns, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, are we sure that they aren't like that? We were talking about Memphis being a regular season team. Maybe the Suns were a little bit of a regular season team, because one thing that everybody would talk about with them is the Suns in clutch time this year. I think they were 33-9 in games that included clutch time, which is like, a 2-point, I think it's like a 2-point game under 3 minutes or something like that.
They won a lot of close games.
Yeah, and now it's like, back. You could almost say, well, I mean, yeah, they were executing during the regular season, but once it got in clutch time and during the playoffs, like all their sphincters tightened. So, I mean, maybe those games, maybe we should have looked at that like, they were 33-9, but in reality, maybe we cut, do a 50-50 distribution on that. And maybe that's more of the reality of their team, like a 53-win team, not a 64-win team.
Well, yeah, you look at Phoenix and, I kind of like to look at the Warriors situation, because if they win the championship or if they don't, I still think changes will be made in the off season because of, is it going to be Wiggins? Because Green's got the contract, and does anybody want to take Green's contract on? And, is he an untradeable guy? I don't know.
I can't imagine they're moving Green. Do you guys really think they'd move Green? Let me look at Golden State's salary structure for.
I don't think they
going
can,
forward.
But
I think when you look at Golden State, I mean, their big questions in the offseason. First of all, they led the NBA with the highest payroll this year, $178 million. That's what I said to Cy, as he's like, oh, they're cheap. I'm like, Cy, they're leading the NBA. And
they got 3 guys over 30 billion, and Green's making 25.
They got far and away the biggest payroll. All right, so coming back next year, this is what Golden State has. They got Curry, Thompson, Wiggins at 33.6 mil, Green at 25.8, Wiseman at 9.6. The other guys they have guaranteed coming back are Kuminga at 5.7, Moses Moody at 3.7, Jordan Poole at 3.9. So you want to say why, Andre Iguodala, why did they not, trade all these guys? Because you've got Kuminga and Moody and Poole as 3 core rotation players, and not one of them is making $6 million. So you got a great deal. Now, Chioza's on the books for $1.5 million. I don't think it's guaranteed. So who do you have that's not under contract that you want to bring back?
What's Curry, like 50 million?
Yeah. Curry's making 45 this year, 45.7 this year, 48 next year. But if you look at their free agents, what's that?
What's Clay, high 30s or 40 next year?
Clay's 37.9 this year, 40.6 next year.
Yeah.
We got lucky that he didn't make All NBA that last year before in 2019. Remember that whole debate? Like he would have been eligible for way more. Also,
you know what Clay made the last 2 years to not play at all?
That's what?
$85 million.
Oh God, Deshaun Watson is like, where can I get his agent?
I mean, only Jay Hutch in Murfreesboro makes that kind of ching. All right, but
a little bit less. I handle Jay's money. He's just slightly less, but
is he slightly less? Slightly less. Well, but he's doing it intentionally to keep from paying big taxes. Gary Payton II is a free agent. Okay, so I would imagine they're going to do everything in their power to re-sign GP2. And then Otto Porter made 2.3 this year. They probably try to bring him back. Iguodala is probably going to retire. Yeah, and then definitely. Looney, who made 5.1, and I saw GP2 saying Looney's getting paid. We'll see. I don't know. I can't imagine Looney's going to get that much. But those are their big decisions in the offseason. Do you bring Wiseman back? Do you bring Wiggins back? Can you re-sign Looney? Can you re-sign Porter? Can you re-sign Payton?
And do you max Poole?
I think what is max money looking like for Poole?
I think it's pretty big. I think it'd be like close to like 35, 40 million.
And when would that start? Wouldn't that start? That wouldn't start until 24, 25, right?
Yeah,
that would,
correct.
yeah. So that wouldn't affect them immediately. But yeah, that decision is tied to the Wiggins decision.
Yeah. I definitely keep Poole over Wiggins. I love Wiggins, but you can't have all those guys. And here's a thought: what would you, if it came down to next year, keeping Porter, GP2, and
Looney,
or keeping Wiggins? If you were going to lose all three of those guys,
They keep the
would you?
three.
Yeah,
You keep the three.
Versus Wiggins.
the three.
See, that's what I think. That's what I think it'll take, is to keep all three of those guys. Will be having Wiggins go. Otherwise, I think you'll have trouble signing any one of them.
Rebel 444 says, my guess is Wiggins and Wiseman are the two that are questionable for next year. I personally would like to see them stay, replacing or retaining Bell, Andre, and Looney are the others too.
Andre's retiring.
Yeah, Andre's going to retire.
Hey guys, I was just thinking about this the other night, like when it really set in that they were going to the conference finals. I was thinking about everything they've been through. Nobody talks enough about the fact that the Nets just inexplicably just were like, you know what? Like, we're going to sign KD, but instead we talked to D'Lo and he said he's open to going to the Warriors. And so you guys just want D'Lo? Like, you just want us to throw him in? Because if we lost him, we wouldn't have had another max slot. Because we got D'Lo in the trade, we had his rights, so we could go beyond the cap and pay him. But then we turned D'Lo into Wiggins and got his rights and the pick that ended up Kuminga. So basically, KD on his way out, and the Nets were like, "Hey, do you guys want Wiggins and Kuminga? Just have it." Like, seriously.
Well, that was sharp. That was a sharp move. First of all, that's another example where Joe Lacob was willing to pay money. He was willing to pay money. He didn't have. He could have just. Many owners would have just said, "You know what? We want KD. We're not getting them. Okay, well we'll just reset and do it that way." Instead, he took a player he didn't really want, right? And who didn't fit at all.
But
then he found a way to. Myers found a way to shuffle him off on the T-Wolves because Karl Anthony Towns dreamt of playing with him, and they wound up getting two better players. I mean, I wouldn't trade Kuminga or Wiggins for D'Lo right now.
Could you imagine?
I couldn't stay watching D'Lo. By the way, he's just such a shameless gunner. He just didn't fit. I mean, it was just like talking about the guy who just did not fit with Golden State. It was D'Angelo Russell.
Yep. You know, that whole thing though with getting KD, weren't they able to because he was hurt, weren't they able to give him the max deal with the super max with the Warriors so that then they could kind of do the sign and trade?
Yes,
because he could only do 4 years with the with the Nets, but he got 5 years with because he signed with the Warriors. It was kind of a
little hack.
By the way, how's KD feeling about that whole decision right now? That decision, how's that decision looking right now? That I got to get away from Steph and Draymond and Clay. I mean,
so I can play with Kyrie the head case.
Yeah, how's that feeling right now? You know, I mean,
you've got Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving. I think we won the divorce.
Yeah, I mean, hey, did you see the GM of comments of the Nets, Marks? I think it's Sean
Marks, former Cal Bear.
See his
what did he say?
Comments. He said, we want players that are going to be here, that are reliable, and that we can count on. So that was basically a shot at Kyrie.
Is
that me?
Something.
No, I mean that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
What was that?
Yeah, was that me?
Yes. What's that? What happened, Ryan?
That sound? Do you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything. Go ahead, Ryan. What do you got?
I'm hearing baseball now.
There's baseball going on.
Oh, that might be me. That's probably my ESPN going. Did I just turn it off?
Yeah, you're good.
I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it my way. Sorry for injecting some Brewers highlights into the proceedings. out of nowhere.
Yeah. So Sean Marks was, as I was saying, he was basically saying we need people who are going to be here. They're going to be part of the plan, that are reliable and are available. And so, and then Kyrie was making comments about, they're going to meet in the off season with Kyrie. We're going to meet with KD and Marks, and he left out Steve Nash, and then Marks comes in and he says, "No, we're meeting, and you're not in the meeting, Kyrie."
Yeah, I'm going to negotiate my own extension with myself.
All right, fellas. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for us. We as Jim Harbaugh would say, there's no new ground to plow. But we talked a lot of Warriors. We talked some NBA playoffs tonight. We talked about the Giants. Giants, I don't know what to say about the Giants other than St. Louis are pretty good. Giants have never really done great in St. Louis. It's just a tough place to play. Danny, you ever been to St. Louis?
No, haven't been there. Have not been to St. Louis.
You never been to the city or never been to the stadium?
I haven't been to the stadium.
But you've been to St. Louis?
Only through the airport. That's it. Just to stop over.
At Lambert.
I think J Hutch has.
We stayed there for 2 days when we were moving here. Or not 2 days. We stayed there for like one night. That arch is huge, by the way.
You can go in the arch, right? You can take an elevator up in the arch, I believe.
Yeah, it was crazy though. Like I'm driving on the freeway and I'm looking at the arch and I'm just like, whoa, like that vision when you like look at something and like that's what it was. It was huge.
St. Louis is kind of a fun town. Roboski's is not bad. Ozzy's place ain't bad. Decent. It's a great baseball town. The weather sucks though. I mean, let's be honest. It's either cold or it's just ridiculously sweaty.
Nothing beats Bay Area weather. It's tough to beat Bay Area weather.
Yeah.
I think we need to take the Krug show to Chicago in September, though.
I thought you were going to say Murfreesboro. Road trip to Murfreesboro.
Catch the Giants and then the 49ers
opener
in Chicago.
Right off.
Wait,
there we go.
What are you guys doing New Year's Day?
Vegas. Vegas. How about that, Danny?
Watch some bowl games and sports book and then go catch a Niners game.
Oh my God! We get the Coccimilgio brothers, maybe in Vegas.
I'm just glad Harbaugh is not running the 49ers, man. We'll have all kinds of chaos going on in Vegas on New Year's Eve. Hey, nobody's showed up for room checks. It's just everybody.
All right, J Hutch, we're gonna hit our sponsors. So I don't know if you want to hang for that, but what you got? One last parting thought on your way out the door?
Yeah. So what did they put the Bucks? The 11th of December. I think.
Say that again.
On the 11th, right, of the December.
Bucks.
What's on the 11th of December?
I think it's the 11th. What if Trey's hurt for some reason and it's Jimmy v. Brady?
Have we seen that? No, we have not seen that yet.
No, Jimmy against Brady.
Yeah,
who knows where Jimmy's going to be?
Trey somehow gets hurt and it's Jimmy v. Brady.
How about Jimmy and Trey get hurt and it's
No, we can't go that far.
How about Trey against Jimmy? Niners Panthers. What week do we get Niners Panthers?
Yeah. Do you guys see Drew Brees is considering coming back to the NFL?
No, his body is. Come on.
What? Really?
Yeah. He even tweeted about it. He said he's not sure what's next. He's not sure if he's going to come back to play football or if he's going to go into business.
That's not good. Say goodbye.
His body's old.
Yeah. I mean, come on. He had a rag arm at the end there. I love Drew Brees. Yeah. And I thought what happened to Drew Brees was terrible, and everybody just started, crushing this guy because he said he loved America. That was terrible. When you factor in all the things that Drew Brees did for the city of New Orleans, I think we all ought to give Drew Brees a wide berth. I mean, outside of J.J. Watt, I can't think of too many athletes who have done more for a municipality than what Brees did for post-Katrina New Orleans. Am I missing something here? So I just think that people ought to appreciate Drew Brees a little bit more. And not be so harsh. But that being said, Drew, if you're watching, you're done, buddy. You're done, right? Take your.
Yeah.
Is it? He doesn't want to be on TV anymore. He doesn't want to do the broadcast deal. Is that the deal?
Did they renew his?
Yeah. No, I think they let him go. I mean, to be honest, he was.
Go.
Yeah, he looked like what what worst case scenario Brady is, where he's just super vanilla and like doesn't give you anything, and it's like why?
Hey, speaking of Brady, I saw last night. It was a really cool show, pretty funny.
Which one?
Him and Charles Woodson.
Oh, you just saw that on
60,
the
what they call it? Was that the
30 for 30? Or was it 30 for 30?
E60.
E60.
That was awesome. That was funny.
It was. They're trying to tap dance. He's trying to tap dance around the fact that, obviously Brady won and the Raiders that was one of maybe the most crushing loss in Raider history, or definitely among them. And Charles Woodson wasn't giving it, and Brady didn't want to be too cocky. And it's just the dynamic between two guys. It was great. It was phenomenal.
It was really, really good. Yeah, you got to see that. But at the end, so what would you call that? And he goes, Brady's a fumble. He goes, I told you.
Oh yeah.
Mark Graves, Breeze, stay home and relax. All right, Jay Hutch, good to see you, man. We appreciate you, brother. Appreciate time in Murfreesboro. All right, Jay Hutch.
As it strikes midnight, his what was that like? He didn't have the Cinderella shoe on, and he had to be cut out just before it struck midnight. In
Exactly. Jay Hutch was going to get yelled at by the old lady. Get to bed. Go to bed. Alex Breitler says, really enjoying your show, Larry. Thanks for everything you guys do. Brightens my evening every time. Well, Alex, it brightens our evening to hear you say that. And we really enjoy doing what we're doing. So we appreciate everybody stopping by. Danny, you are one of our sponsors. And when we put up your banner here and tell people, now we put up the banner, it covers Dan's face. So maybe we'll move Dan up to the top box. Oh, you move you? Okay, there you go. Where's Rye? Well, he's got really nice hair up here, but that's about it. All right, Danny, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com. I could sit here and tell you about Dan, and in fact, he's a retirement planning specialist and can help you, especially in these troubled economic times with things skyrocketing and obviously inflation and people are impacted. I actually had a guy send me a thing Friday night after the show saying that it was really made him feel better, Dan, that somebody with your expertise and your background would actually share some open thoughts on the number one thing that's on people's minds these days, which is that their money is worth less because of inflation. So tell people, if they contact you, Dan, what that experience is going to be like. And, if you want to throw in anything on inflation, please do. But 925-628-9966. Give Danny a call. He's a retirement planning specialist, securemoney.com on the web. But what's that experience going to be like, Dan, if they reach out to you? And are you noticing, as people reach out to you through the last, let's say, few weeks, that they're concerned about inflation? What are you hearing about it on your front when you're talking to, clients, either existing or people that are checking you out for the first time? What are they saying about inflation, and what are you saying back to them, more importantly?
Yeah, well, what I say back to them is I say, hey, tough luck, man. Your money's it's bottom. You're going to hit the bottom.
You're SOL, bro. You're gonna lose it all. No,
basically it's a low-key conversation, but people are concerned about what's happening in the economy. They're seeing everything from everyday items that they use, whether it be putting fuel in the tank or just the groceries, or any kind of interest rates are climbing up for housing. Everything's going up, so it'd be kind of even tough to now refinance and pull money out where you could do that, 3-4 months ago. So, and the thing about that is I really believe we're going to be in this for a while. The world economy is really changing. So if people give me a call, basically we're just going to chat and find out what you want to do, what your goals are, and I'm going to help give you some direction on how to protect your money while growing it at the same time, outpacing inflation, but having zero risk. It's really tough to risk right now. People sometimes when they get a little nervous, they tend to not want to do anything. They don't want to make any changes. And so people sit and then they continue to lose even more of their assets as the markets go into decline. And you don't have to do that. You can grow with the market with products that I use, but never risk your principal. So give me a call if that is enticing to you. And there's no obligation. It's a free call. It's a free consultation. And heck, I might even throw a couple of tickets in for the Giants games. I've got season tickets, and sometimes I just feel generous and feel like giving tickets away. So give me a call.
That right there is going to make the phone ring. 925-628-9966. Yeah. I know you got some finance. Do you got two for Sunday, possibly? Securemoney.com on the web. And also thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics.co. Telmetrics, you're saying, what's Telmetrics? Well, if you're an orthopedic surgeon or an occupational therapist, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Now, what is Telmetrics? Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environment. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, be sure that you use this website, Telmetrics.co, Telmetrics.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueger Show. We should also tell you to be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and be extra sure to hit that notification bell so you can catch all the upcoming Krueger shows. I'm loving the YouTube space. I'm having a lot of fun. We all are. Thanks for supporting the channel, the Krueger Show. Thanks to Len. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks to all of you. We got a brand new board for the guests for the week, and it's behind me. So let me pivot for a second, and I can tell you that tomorrow on the Krueger Show, we're going to have, that's right, Matt Barrows. Matt Barrows from The Athletic and Jordan Elliott is going to stop by. We're going to do some live streams tomorrow. Grant Napier will be by. We'll talk NBA playoffs with him tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We'll be doing doing post-game shows throughout the week. Marty Lurie's going to stop by. Ryan will be here. Danny will be here. Ned Coletti's going to stop by. We got a lot of good stuff on the Krueger Show this week. And even more than that, of course, we'll partner with Vish on Wednesdays. We'll be on Grant Cohn's channel on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, so check us out for that. We do our Niner Nation deal with Kyle Posey Thursdays at 3 o'clock, so just a lot of good live streams and post games in the week ahead, and more announcements coming on the Krueger Show as we have more partnerships, more sponsors, and just more coming overall that we will announce in the days ahead. So thank you all for supporting our channel, supporting our efforts. And guys, you got a final thought? Guys, it was an eventful day today. Giants got routed, but man, it was exciting as hell watching Dallas put away Phoenix. I actually started with the Giant game and taped Dallas Phoenix. So I watched like the second half of Dallas Phoenix, but I'm going to go watch that first half because the first half was where the thing really turned in Dallas's favor. You guys have a thought on the day that was? It was a disappointing day if you're a Giants fan, but if you're a Warrior fan, you're starting to think that maybe the parade is actually coming to Oakland this year. I don't know, guys. I'm getting kind of excited. What do you guys think? You got a final thought before we call it a night?
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah. I mean, the championship has never been realer or like more of a possibility. Like the path has been laid, especially if Miami can maybe pull this one out over the Celtics. But man, honestly, I don't want to sound like a total loser, but like just with everything they've been through over the past couple of years, just getting to the finals, it would just be amazing just to be back on that stage and just be, champs of the Western Conference again. And then with the Giants, they've already shown us like they hit a skid and then they ripped off a big win streak. So I'm not worried about them. And I don't care if we lose, let's go take 2 out of 3 versus the Rockies.
Danny, before you jump in here, let's not forget to remind people that they can check out the Krug Show podcast T-shirts. Our other sponsors are Cacero's Italian Menswear. They're at 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And that T-shirt right there, good-looking black T-shirt with the red and white logo. You can actually purchase it and support the show at Cacero's Italian Menswear in Dublin. Go say hi to Tony Cacero and get yourself a Krug Show T-shirt. And also, we have a brand new sponsor who will be joining us next week, but we'll put up their logo this week, and that's the New York Style Italian Sausage Company. They put together a phenomenal product, and they're going to be sponsoring us going forward as well. So thanks to all the people there at Cacero's and the New York Style Italian Sausage Factory. Danny, you got a final thought before we play the outro?
Sure. Yeah, Giants, not worried about it at all. They won 6 in a row after losing, 5 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. They'll bounce back, and they're healthy. Listella's should be back, probably in Colorado. So another roster move probably coming tomorrow. Probably Marte may go back down or someone like that. So, I don't see anybody in the position players being moved down, so they'll probably move one of their relievers back down. But Listella will be back up, and I look for him to platoon with Estrada, and he won't be an everyday player. If he does play back-to-back, he'll be DHing the other days because they're going to baby that Achilles, and so that'll be good to have him back. They've got depth. They've got Walton now. It looks to me like another Listella. So
they farmed him out today, didn't they?
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Marte.
Yeah. So as far as the Warriors goes, getting back one more thing with baseball. I watched the Dodger game and I was really ticked off. They were down 4-0, and in the 9th with 2 out, Bellinger hits a triple. Next guy walks. Chris Taylor walks, and then he attempts to steal second, and Gavin Lux hits one into the right field corner, and Taylor scores all the way from first, walk off, and the Dodgers pull off 5-4 improbable victory and avoid getting
all with 2 out.
4 games sweep by the Phillies. I was so ticked off. It was Corey Kent unable on the mound for the Phillies. He pitched for the Dodgers last year, and then he comes in and just chokes. So that cost the Giants a game with the Dodgers. So, but one game we'll bounce back. As far as the Warriors go, I said in the beginning, back in March, I said they're going to play Memphis and be the 3 seed. They'll beat Memphis, and then they'll beat Phoenix. So it's not Phoenix. So it's going to be the Mavericks. I've got the Warriors in 5. I really think they'll be hungry. I don't think they want to mess around. They want rest. They're, they got pushed around a little bit against Memphis, and I don't think the Warriors, being as veteran team as they are, want to take chances of playing around. And the more games you play with an older team, the more chance of somebody going down with an injury. So you're best just taking it to them and move on. And get a week's rest before you have to face either Boston or Miami. So that's what
I'll say. This on the Giant front is that, there's very few good teams in the National League, but the Cardinals in their place are one of them. So I think you saw that this weekend. And as far as the Warriors, I think they caught a break. DeAndre Ayton, they don't match up. And they don't have to match up because it's the Dallas Mavericks and the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. All right, gentlemen, great stuff as usual. We catch you tomorrow morning for the Krug Show. Grant Napier stops by bright and early at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Catch it. We'll talk NBA playoffs and more thoughts, more reaction to Warriors Mavericks, and a lot of discussion about Game 7s over the weekend. So for Dan and Ryan, I'm Larry. Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at.